Chapter 737. The next day, Shisheng went to the office. Before he could even warm his seat, Nie Cheng's assistant brought him a pile of work. She didn't need to do these things. Shisheng argued with the assistant on the spot. Cindy, this is Chief Editor Nie's order. What's the use of making a fuss with me? The assistant kept mentioning Chief Editor Nie and Chief Editor Nie whenever she spoke. This is not my job scope. Shisheng sat in his seat with his arms crossed. He didn't show any signs of anger. He just calmly stated the facts. The assistant said earnestly, Xine, you are a newcomer. Doing more is also a test of your ability. You can't let Chief Editor Nie down. Painstaking effort? Shisheng nudged Anna and Zhao Qing, who were watching the drama with the editorial department. They are newcomers too. How can you let me do it alone? If you want to make things difficult, then so be it. Why do you have to make it sound so nice? You already said that you are making things difficult. Who would dare to say that I am making things difficult for you? Is there something wrong with this girl's brain? Anna glared at Shisheng. She got in through the back door and was found out by Chief Editor Nie. How could they be implicated? Anna and Zhao Qing have work experience. You are the only one who doesn't. This is for you to gain experience. How can you be so ungrateful? The assistant couldn't help but raise his voice. Shisheng raised his chin and said arrogantly, I am ungrateful. If you have the ability, fire me. The assistant. What are you doing? Why are you bullying my Xiao Yi? Song Mingzi's voice came in. In the next second, Song Mingzi squeezed through the people blocking the way and walked to Shisheng. Song Mingzi, don't mess around. The assistant scolded. Song Mingzi flipped the documents on the table. How am I messing around? Nie Cheng can bully me. How can he bully Xiao Yi? Did Xiao Yi do these things? Believe it or not, I will report it. The assistant's expression changed. He glared at Song Mingzi and left angrily with the documents on the table. Lackey. Song Mingzi scolded from behind. Song Mingzi didn't know if the assistant heard her, but she stopped to argue with Song Mingzi. The next second, she received a call from Nie Cheng, and the assistant left in a hurry. Song Mingzi patted Shisheng's shoulder and said, Good job, Xiao Yi. But you can't encourage evil. Do you really think that Nie Cheng has the final say here? Don't be afraid. I'll protect you. Nie Cheng won't dare to do anything to you. Shisheng. If you're not afraid of Nie Cheng, why didn't you fight back when Nie Cheng asked you to do something? You still want to protect her? Protect my ass. Shisheng went to the restroom to rest. When he came out, he passed by the resting area and saw a few editors sitting there. He could vaguely hear the sound of a conversation. Isn't Song Mingzi relying on Chief Editor Xu? I don't know what Chief Editor Xu sees in her. She doesn't work properly all day long and makes trouble. Our entire editorial department is in a mess. And that Xine, she got in through the back door and didn't even have any self-awareness. How dare she talk back to Chief Editor Nie? People nowadays are not like us in the past. Those who have a backer are the boss. Others work hard to find a job, but what about them? They get it with just one sentence. Why is God so unfair? Who's Xine's backer? I don't know. I've never seen her interact with anyone from the top. The only person Shisheng was close to in the editorial department was Song Mingzi. But they all knew that Song Mingzi and Shisheng hadn't known each other for a long time. It was impossible for her to get someone in. Shisheng had heard all kinds of rumors. What she was more curious about was Chief Editor Xu. During lunch, Shisheng asked Song Mingzi about her. Shuju. Song Mingzi looked surprised. You've been in the company for so long and you still don't know who Shuju is? I've been thinking about how to destroy Nie Cheng all day long. Where would I have the time to pay attention to other people? The name Shuju was not in the storyline. Song Mingzi's expression was strange for a moment. She pulled a chair to her side and winked at her. Didn't I tell you last time that they were jealous of me? Song Mingzi suddenly paused. I can tell you, but you have to fill in the holes. Shisheng stood up expressionlessly. I don't want to hear it. He didn't want to fill in the holes. Hey, why are you like this? Song Mingzi pulled Shisheng. Okay, I'll tell you. Sit down first. Shisheng was pulled to sit down by Song Mingzi. She cleared her throat. Xu Ju is my senior in university. He's very talented and was a popular figure in university. Countless girls chased after him, but he didn't even look at them. Shisheng listened for a long time and only heard about Xu Ju's great achievements. He didn't get to the main point at all. That's all? That's all. Song Mingzi looked innocent. Didn't you want to know about this? Shisheng. Who wanted to hear about a man's romantic history? Then what do you want to know? Song Mingzi leaned closer to Shisheng and laughed sinisterly. Are you interested in Xu Ju? Let me tell you, Xu Ju is very hard to please. He's misophobic, enigmatic, annoying, and has a strong desire to control. This kind of person is definitely not the best boyfriend. Shisheng's mouth twitched. You're not his girlfriend? Song Mingzi's expression froze. If I had such a boyfriend, I would choose death. If they weren't boyfriend and girlfriend, why would the editorial department be jealous of you? Ahem. Actually, Xu Ju is my cousin. Don't tell anyone else about this. My cousin used me to block those crazy bees and butterflies, causing me to be unable to fall in love. Cousin. Song Mingzi nodded with a sincere expression. He really was her cousin. She was only 1 year older than Xu Ju. She didn't listen to anyone since she was young, and was only afraid of Xu Ju. Hence, when she went to university, she was sent to Xu Ju's school. Those few years when she was studying were definitely the most miserable period of her life. Everyone else was busy getting high and dating. What about her? She blocked women for Xu Ju all day long and broke many of her suitors. As Song Mingzi spoke, she started to criticize Xu Ju again. Shisheng felt that he should find some time to meet this chief editor Xu. Perhaps it was Feng Ci? Hidden mission: promote the world. Mission target: Xu Ju. Help Xu Ju expand his business, promote literature, and spread positive energy. Shisheng. Just because I said so, you came out without any warning. Side mission: hypocrite. There are no hints. Host, please explore on your own. Amazing, there were no hints now. Damn, there was no range at all. How was he going to investigate? Host, you can do it. I believe in you. You're already so powerful that you want to conquer the universe. Why would you be afraid of this little difficulty? What's the use of believing in me? Giving me clues is more important. Perhaps the system didn't have enough authority, or perhaps it didn't have any clues. The system didn't say anything and pretended to be dead. Shisheng. Is my Feng Ci coming online? Little fairy, beg me. Shisheng. Draws sword, little fairy. Don't draw sword if you dare. Shisheng. Draws energy ball, little fairy. I choose death. Chapter 738. Before Shisheng could pay his respects to Feng Ci, the website's annual meeting was about to begin. All the editors started to get busy. Being able to attend the annual meeting was a big deal for the authors. After all, only those with good results were qualified to attend the annual meeting. Shisheng's romance was an unpopular topic. There were only 5 spots. Usually, it was based on results. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 was enough. However, Shisheng did not list the top 5 authors. Niecheng naturally got angry. He called Shisheng to his office and scolded him. If you can't do it, then don't do it. The company pays you, not for you to run amok. Niecheng was in the right this time. Naturally, he would not let go of such a good opportunity. Run amok? Shisheng sneered. How am I running amok? Niecheng slapped the name list in front of Shisheng. If this isn't running amok, then what is it? The number 1 author on the sales chart was not on the list. She plagiarized, Shisheng said calmly. What right does a plagiarist have to attend the annual meeting? Niecheng choked. He took 2 deep breaths. Do you have evidence? Shisheng opened the color palette he had prepared beforehand on his phone and handed it to Niecheng. He said mockingly, Didn't the company say that we have 0 tolerance for plagiarism? Someone reported it a few months ago, but the company didn't deal with it. Is this the so-called 0 tolerance? The company turned a blind eye to plagiarism because it sold well. Because of the company's tolerance, more and more people plagiarized other people's works. Even in the Xuanhuan world, Those people who snatch treasures would not be so shameless as to put their own names on the treasures. Xine, don't act on your own initiative. The company has its own considerations. Change the name list back and get out. Shisheng's lips tugged into a smile. Is that so? I wonder if the higher-ups know about this. Niecheng watched Shisheng leave with an ugly expression. She actually dared to threaten him. Shisheng did not change the name list. After the name list was released, the #1 author on the sales chart immediately came to ask about it. Shisheng accused her of plagiarism without any hesitation. The author was speechless and stopped updating the next day. Shisheng's willful behavior made the female editors in the editorial department raise their eyebrows. It was not that they had never plagiarized authors before, but their sales were good. According to their company's rules, the author's sales were linked to the editor's salary, so they turned a blind eye to it. Everyone gained both fame and fortune. However, not long after this girl took office, she had already chased away one of the great gods under her. For such willful behavior, Niecheng only deducted half of her salary. This was simply illogical. Shisheng bumped into Xie Yan on a rainy evening. Shisheng got out of a taxi and ran into the neighborhood. Before he entered the neighborhood, he was stopped by someone. Xie Yan's body was drenched, and his hair stuck to his face. He looked like a mess. Little E. Xie Yan stopped Shisheng. In the rain, Shisheng could not see his expression clearly. Shisheng bypassed him and ran towards the building. Xie Yan was still waiting for her in such a heavy rain. Did he want her to sympathize with him? What a joke. As soon as Shisheng ran, Xie Yan chased after her and grabbed her arm. Shisheng dodged out of reflex. Rainwater flowed down her cheeks. She wiped her face and said, Xie Yan, what do you want? It was not like he was acting. Why did he have to look for her in such a heavy rain? Idiot. Little E, I want to talk to you, Xie Yan hurriedly said. I have been waiting for you here for many days, but you never came. I don't have any other intentions. I just want to treat you to a meal and apologize for what happened before. Bullshit. I have nothing to talk to you about. Shisheng cursed irritably. Damn idiot. Xie Yan saw Shisheng turn around and grabbed Shisheng. Shisheng kicked Xie Yan in the crotch. Xie Yan clutched his crotch in pain, his face twisted in agony. Xie Yan did not think that Shisheng would treat him like this. She liked him so much. How could she treat him so cruelly? Xie Yan, my ability is limited. Don't think that I don't dare to beat you. Shisheng paused, wiped the rainwater off her face and kicked Xie Yan again. Idiot. Shisheng dashed into the building, leaving Xie Yan alone in the rain, covering his private part with his hands. After being in the rain for so long, Shisheng caught a cold and kept sneezing. How did you catch a cold? Song Mingzi handed Shisheng some hot water and cold medicine. I just bought it for you. Am I okay? Thank you. Shisheng's nasal voice was a little heavy. You're welcome. Song Mingzi put the rest of the cold medicine on Shisheng's table and said worriedly, take it on time. If you really can't take it, you can ask for leave. Shisheng smiled. She did not care about this little cold at all. However, Shisheng did not expect her body to be so weak after catching a cold. She went to the hospital to get M4 drip, but it did not work. She kept sneezing and coughing. Song Mingzi asked her to ask for leave, but that idiot Niecheng refused. He said that the editing department was busy and she was the only editor in fantasy. Who would take over her job if she asked for leave? Niecheng was deliberately making things difficult for Shisheng. Everyone in the editing department could see that. Song Mingzi ran away in a hurry after Niecheng refused. When she came back, she was already holding the approved leave request. Let's go home. Song Mingzi supported Shisheng and stood up. Shisheng felt that her illness seemed to have worsened. Maybe it was because of the wind on the way here. She felt dizzy when she stood up. Damn it. She really did not want to have such a weak body. Song Mingzi walked her downstairs. It had been raining heavily for the past few days, so it was not easy to get a taxi. Song Mingzi scratched her head and took out her phone to make a call. Song Mingzi said a few words and hung up. She helped Shisheng out of the company. They waited at the entrance for a while. In the rain, a car gradually approached them. A man got out of the car and ran over in the rain. Miss Song. Song Mengzi stared at him. Why are you here? Where is my cousin? Chief Editor Shu is busy and can't leave. He asked me to drive you. He didn't even come to save the damsel in distress. Serves him right to be single, Song Mengzi muttered. The man helped Shisheng into the car. Shisheng was currently in a daze. Her body wasn't in good condition, so she couldn't keep her consciousness awake. Shisheng didn't think that being tormented by a cold was entirely because of the cold. She was certain that luck was playing a role in this. Shisheng was sent to the hospital. The results of the examination were even more shocking. Shisheng had been infected with a type of HU virus recently. Shisheng might not have been infected when she caught a cold. However, after catching a cold, her immune system was weakened and it was easy for her to get infected. The hospital only received the results a few days ago. Asterisk trash body. No matter how good you are, it is useless. Ha ha ha. Chapter 739. Being hospitalized, Shisheng felt the world's evil intentions. It was too painful. He hated his body. When Shisheng recovered and returned to the editing department, the preparations for the annual meeting were almost done. The annual meeting was held at a scenic spot. After the meeting, the author could travel. For some reason, Nieching didn't cause any trouble for Shisheng. He rarely saw him in the company. As for Xu Ju, he was like a missing person. They couldn't find him at all. In Song Mengzi's words, busy people were not on the same level as small fries like them. Shisheng didn't see Xu Ju until they left. He was so tired. Xiao Yi over here. People were coming and going at the airport. Song Mengzi, who was wearing a red dress, was waving at Shisheng. Beside her were other members of the editing department. Not many departments were allowed to take part in this kind of trip, but everyone in the editing department was there. Shisheng only brought a backpack. Compared to the other people's bags and suitcases, she looked like she was here to see them off. Are you going to a beauty contest dressed like this? Shisheng poked Song Mengzi's red dress. Hey, my author will recognize me at a glance. The author went directly to the scenic spot and met them there. I don't know you. Shisheng's mouth twitched. He waved his hand and moved a few steps to the side. How could he know such a retarded person? Xiao Yi, don't be like this. Song Mengzi held Shisheng's hand. Song Mengzi pulled Shisheng and chatted. Time passed quickly. It was time to board the plane. It's time to board the plane. Why isn't Chief Editor Nye here yet? Should we call and ask? Just as everyone was about to make a call, Nieching brought someone into the airport. Damn, the male lead is the one on top, and you're the one on the bottom. Who is this? Is he from our company? Why haven't I seen him before? He came with Chief Editor Nye. Nieching walked to the front of the crowd and pointed at Xie Yan, who was keeping a distance from him. The author is Yan Yeji. Everyone was shocked. He was the author? How did he know Chief Editor Nye? Hello. Xie Yan greeted them with a smile. Ah, nice to meet you. I really like your stories. Since Chief Editor Nye had brought her here, everyone gave her a few compliments. The editor knew all the authors who were slightly famous on his own website. Song Mengzi and Shisheng stood at the back and poked Shisheng excitedly. Is he Yan Yeji? Yes. Song Mengzi immediately abandoned Shisheng and said, I'm going to get his autograph. I love his novels. Shisheng. Song Mengzi really went to ask Xie Yan for an autograph, but because they were about to board the plane, Song Mengzi only said one sentence to Xie Yan. Xie Yan didn't see Shisheng until he boarded the plane. He was surprised and confused. Nieching stood in front of Xie Yan and pushed him to the first-class cabin. I actually saw Yan Yeji. He even gave me an autograph. Song Mengzi looked like a fangirl. Shisheng decided to stay away from this idiot. After all, she liked her love rival. However, Song Mengzi didn't want to let Shisheng off. Xiao Yi, his mythical beast is really good. There's also the beloved one. I love these two novels. It's a pity that the latter part of the novel is not as good as the former part. Of course, the latter part of the novel wasn't good. That's not right. Xiao Yi, I don't remember him on your list. Song Mengzi's IQ came back after she was excited. Yes. Then he. Xiao Yi covered her mouth and looked at Shisheng in disbelief. Could it be what she was thinking? It couldn't be, right? Shisheng smiled. Niecheng brought him here. Oh my god! Song Mingzi exclaimed. She realized that her voice was too loud and quickly suppressed it. He and Niecheng? That kind of relationship? Song Mingzi was furious. She didn't like Xie Yan at all. Who asked him to have an affair with Niecheng? An enemy's lover was an enemy. It took a long time to get off the plane and arrive at the scenic area. Everyone still had work to do the next day. They were going to rest after they were assigned their rooms. However, something went wrong when they were assigned their rooms. Two girls in the editorial department who didn't get along were assigned to the same room. Neither of them wanted to live with the other, and the others didn't want to change rooms. Both parties were in a deadlock. Shisheng leaned on the marble counter and looked at the people arguing. It was all a trap. In the end, Xie Yan would definitely stay with Niecheng. Reality proved that Shisheng's trap was right again. The authors who came early were all assigned a single room. Xie Yan naturally got one too. He gave his room to the girl, and Niecheng naturally let Xie Yan stay with him. After the rooms were assigned, everyone went upstairs and entered their own rooms. Shisheng was supposed to stay with another girl, but Song Mingzi forced him to change rooms with her. Xiaoyi, what do you think Niecheng and Xie Yan are doing? Song Mingzi asked nosily. Shisheng was lying on the bed and playing with his phone. He didn't even look up. What else can they be doing? Of course they're doing it. Xiaoyi, I didn't expect you to be so dirty. Shisheng rolled his eyes. Be reasonable, girl. You're the one who asked me what they're doing. Song Mingzi was speechless. You don't have to be so direct. Other than Song Mingzi, who was guessing about Niecheng and Xie Yan, the others in the editorial department were also guessing. After all, there was a rumor that Niecheng actually liked men. The night went by uneventfully. The next morning, the editorial department rushed to the venue to welcome the authors who were about to arrive. Song Mingzi was right. Her flamboyant red dress was easily recognized by the author she was responsible for. More and more people arrived. The authors that Shisheng had submitted also arrived. When they saw Shisheng, they were surprised. They were surprised that the editor was so young. There was only one male author in the LGBTQ section. Therefore, when he was surrounded by a few girls, he seemed a little uneasy. They had a day to wait for the authors. The event would only start at 10 o'clock the next day. The authors would arrange the accommodation and other issues. Shisheng only had 5 people. He quickly arranged the accommodation and prepared to take the elevator back to his room. Ding. Niecheng, that's enough. You asked me to come, so I'm here. There are so many people here. Can't you behave yourself? As the elevator door opened, the sound poured out from the gap. Shisheng was speechless. Why did she always meet the main character? In the elevator, Xie Yan heard the door open. He pushed Niecheng away and ran out with his head down. He didn't even look at who was standing outside the door. Niecheng walked out of the elevator unhurriedly. He glanced at Shisheng meaningfully and chased after Xie Yan. Shisheng was speechless as he watched Niecheng leave. When he was about to enter the elevator, he realized that it was already going up. He felt depressed and waited for the next one. A few minutes later, the elevator came down. Shisheng walked into the elevator. The door closed and then opened again. A man in black casual clothes was standing outside. He was wearing earphones. He had one hand in his pocket and his head was slightly lowered. It seemed that he was about to enter the elevator. However, the next second his expression changed slightly. He turned around and left quickly. Shisheng was speechless. Chapter 740. Shisheng quickly ran out of the elevator. There were many people in the lobby. After a few steps, Shisheng lost sight of that person. Shisheng was so angry that he scratched the wall. What was the meaning of this? What was the meaning of this? Couldn't they just let him have a proper relationship? Xiaoyi, what are you doing? Song Mingzi patted Shisheng's shoulder from behind. I think I saw my lover, Shisheng replied. What? Song Mingzi's eyes widened. What lover? Where did you get this lover from? From my previous life. Shisheng scratched his head and asked irritably. Is your cousin here too? Song Mingzi blinked. Why did she say lover one moment and cousin the next? He's here. I saw his name on the list. Let me ask him. Song Mingzi took out her phone and made a call. It took a while for the call to be answered. After a few words, Song Mingzi hung up. He's outside. Let's go and find him. I'll show you how handsome my cousin is. Ha ha. Song Mingzi dragged Shisheng outside. In the parking lot outside the hotel, Shisheng saw the man in black casual clothes from afar. The sun shone on the car window and reflected on the man's body. At this moment, he was like a luminous body that was particularly eye-catching. His face was not infuriatingly handsome, but he could be considered handsome. He pursed his lips expressionlessly and exuded an oppressive aura. This was also the first feeling Shisheng had of him. Oppressive. It was the kind of oppressive aura that would make people feel bad at first glance. Cousin. Song Mingzi pulled Shisheng and ran over quickly. Xu Ju did not look back. He did not even change his posture. Song Mingzi seemed to be used to Xu Ju's behavior. She greeted the person standing beside Xu Ju nonchalantly. Brother Cheng, long time no see. The man opposite her raised his eyebrows slightly, but there was a hint of fierceness between his eyebrows. Little Mengzi, we just met a few days ago. How is long time no see? A day apart feels like 3 years. Brother Cheng, don't you think so? Yes, yes, yes. Our little Mengzi is always right. Cheng Ming laughed heartily. Song Mingzi snorted for some reason, which made Cheng Ming laugh again. Cheng Ming stood up straight and opened the car door beside him. He said to Xu Ju, I'll be leaving first. Without another word, Xu Ju went to the other side and opened the door. Cheng Ming sighed helplessly. I'm fine. You don't have to drive. Xu Ju's words were short and powerful. Cousin, where are you going? Take me with you. Song Mingzi immediately pounced forward, grabbed the car door that Cheng Ming hadn't closed in time, and squeezed her head in. Little Mengzi. Before Cheng Ming could finish, the girl who had been standing behind Song Mingzi walked over to Xu Ju and opened the car door. He kissed her at lightning speed. Cheng Ming. Song Mingzi. Shisheng's lips only touched the corner of Xu Ju's mouth. It was a little cold and soft, with a girl's fragrance. The disgust that had yet to surface in Xu Ju's eyes was instantly replaced by another emotion. His heartbeat seemed to have stopped at that moment. There was a strange feeling that spread from his heart to his limbs and bones. He stared blankly at the person who was so close to him. Shisheng slowly got up and looked at Xu Ju with a smile. I like you. Xu Ju reached out to touch the corner of his mouth. The next second, he suddenly pushed Shisheng away and rushed out of the car. He ran to the side and held onto a tree trunk to retch. Shisheng. So what was the meaning of this? Cheng Ming had already walked over from the other side. He said with a half-smile, Girl, you're very brave. He took out a bottle of water from behind and strode over to Xu Ju. He patted his back gently. Xu Ju probably hadn't eaten anything, so he didn't vomit anything. After vomiting for a while, he rinsed his mouth with the water that Cheng Ming passed to him. Song Mingzi still had a shocked expression on her face. She stumbled over to Shisheng and spoke in a strange tone. Xiaoyi, you just kissed my cousin? She still couldn't believe it. Shisheng nodded shamelessly. Yes. Of course she would stamp her man first. She couldn't possibly leave it for someone else. He pointed at Xu Ju. So this is his reaction? I don't understand. I'm a little confused. Kissing him shouldn't be so disgusting, right? I don't have bad breath, and I didn't eat anything strange just now. Didn't I tell you that my brother is a clean freak? She didn't even dare to touch him casually, but she kissed him the moment she went up. Xiaoyi, even if you like my brother, you don't have to be so impatient. Song Mingzi said earnestly. Shisheng. She's a clean freak. If the male lead was a clean freak, the female lead wouldn't be clean after a kiss. Why couldn't she do it? Bad review. Hashtag no matter how many times my daughter-in-law changes bodies, why is she always sick? Hashtag Xu Ju had already turned around and walked over to Shisheng. Xiaoyi, good luck. Song Mingzi swallowed with difficulty and stepped back fearfully. Her cousin's scariousness level was 5 stars. Xu Ju's figure was getting closer and closer. The distance between them was shortening. Just as they were about to face each other, he turned around, walked around Shisheng, and got into the car. He slammed the car door and rolled up the window. No. What do you mean? Shisheng walked to the car window and knocked on it. At least give me a response. Sister, you still need to work hard. Chengming already had one foot in the car. He gestured at Shisheng. Little Mengzi, see you later. Chengming started the car, so Shisheng could only move aside. He stood there with his hands on his hips. Why did he feel that Feng Xiai needed to be taught a lesson? Chengming drove for a distance before looking at the person beside him. How do you feel? It was very quiet in the car. After a while, Xu Ju said, uncomfortable. You didn't get angry. Chengming's fingertips tapped rhythmically on the steering wheel. This is the first time you didn't get angry because a woman touched you. Xu Ju looked straight ahead. The scenery quickly receded and turned into light and shadow. He reached out to touch his heart. He didn't mean physical discomfort. His heart was uncomfortable. It was like when a heart patient had a seizure and couldn't breathe. He didn't want to vomit at that time, but he couldn't control his body's instinctive reaction. He didn't even dare to look at her expression. A stranger. How ridiculous. He was actually afraid of a stranger. Quite an interesting girl. Chengming's eyes flashed. Xu Ju, give it a try. You're not in our circle. Xu Ju looked at Chengming. Chengming turned and smiled at Xu Ju. We've been friends for so many years. If you really wanted to, I would have done it long ago. Xu Ju, don't force yourself. Xu Ju lowered his head. Shisheng. I kissed him and he actually vomited. Does he despise me that much? Where's I's sword? Little fairy daughter, calm down. Maybe you're pregnant. Shisheng, bullshit. I haven't even slept with him. Whose child is he pregnant with? Little fairy. Then he's disgusted with you. Shisheng, where's I's sword? Feng Xiai, wife, pitiful face. Chapter 741. Shisheng's shout caused the ground to explode. No matter how strong Niecheng's mental fortitude was, he couldn't help but soften. Xie Yan felt the emptiness in his body the most. However, someone was shining a flashlight on them. Xie Yan was so embarrassed that he wanted to find a place to hide. Hey, isn't this Chief Editor Nia? Are you having a field battle here? The flashlight shone on the two of them. Both of them were wearing clothes. Niecheng didn't even take off his pants. Only Xie Yan's pants were off. Xie Yan was lying on top of Niecheng, so only his fair legs could be seen. Shisheng moved the flashlight away and said slowly, I won't disturb you anymore. But keep your voice down. You're disturbing me. Exing. Niecheng called her name through gritted teeth. What are you doing? You want me to watch? Shisheng threw the flashlight back. I don't want to hurt my eyes. Who the hell wants you to watch? Does this woman have any sense of shame? Xie Yan heard Niecheng's scolding and slowly realized that the voice was familiar. He didn't want Shisheng to see him like this. After all, he was a man in front of Xine. But now he looked like a woman who was being. Xie Yan wanted to leave, but how could he leave in this state? Shisheng went back to his tent after he finished mocking Xie Yan. This bastard dared to work for her. Was he not afraid that he would lose his sex life? After Shisheng left, Xie Yan got off Niecheng's body. He pulled up his pants and quickly went back to his tent. How could he face other people in the future? Niecheng looked at the tent that was almost completely dark. He clenched his fists. After the annual meeting, the author went back to his city and the editor went back to work. However, since that post, rumors started to spread in the circle. They said that Xie Yan slept with her. Then Xie Yan was asked by Niecheng to work for him. After many recommendations, the news spread like wildfire. Everyone in the editorial department heard about it. Shisheng shouted so loudly that it wasn't surprising that some people heard it and came out to see it. Meanwhile, Shisheng was adding Xu Ju as a friend when the rumors spread. However, she was rejected 5 or 6 times. Shisheng was furious. In the end, he hacked Xu Ju's account and added himself. Ancestor. Is it too late for me to rewrite the outline? Hua Yueke was speechless. Didn't he reject it? Xu Ju did not return to Shisheng, and Shisheng did not care. He quickly went to rewrite the outline. Ancestor. I've already sent you the revised outline. On the other side of the computer, Shuju opened the email and saw the unusual email title. The grand outline. Shuju opened the email and downloaded the attachment. However, the content inside, it was no different from what he had seen before. Huayueke was speechless. Ancestor, what's wrong? Still not satisfied? I can change it again. Huayueke, what did you change? It was exactly the same, yet he said that she had changed it. Change my ass. Ancestor, sorry I sent the wrong message. Shuju soon received another email, but when he clicked on it, it was a heart-shaped image. In the middle of the picture was his name. Ancestor. Do you see how sincere I am to you? Shisheng did not receive a reply from Shuju for a long time. When he tried again, the message could not be sent. Shisheng. I've been blacklisted. He actually blacklisted me. The host acted like a perverted fan just now. Isn't it normal to blacklist you? Shisheng forcefully added himself again. Ancestor. It's useless to blacklist me. I can add myself back. Huayueke. Huayueke. What do you want? Ancestor. I want to be in a relationship with you. Shuju did not want to talk to this pervert, so he decisively blacklisted her and went offline. He did not believe that she would still talk to him after he went offline. However, he did not turn off his computer, so he logged in automatically. Ancestor. There was an outline in the email just now. Don't blacklist me. I'm not happy. Ancestor. Did you see it? There really is an outline, and it has been revised. Shisheng kept sending him messages, but Shuju could not blacklist him or go offline. He could only look at the email just now. There was indeed an attachment in it. It was a very serious outline, nothing strange. Compared to the outline he had seen before, this one was more mature. The main storyline, the relationships between the characters were clear. And there was an ending. Shuju looked at the dialogue box that was still jumping and decisively unplugged it. Shisheng would definitely not be able to do anything. She could not turn on the power for no reason. When Shuju went online again, it was already the next day. His screen was full of messages from Ancestor. Ancestor. Hey wife, you're online. Shuju almost turned off the power again. How did he become a wife? Shuju directly gave this account to his subordinates to manage, using his private account that he did not usually use. However, it was as if the other party had eyes and jumped to his private account in minutes. Yushi. What do you want? Ancestor. Chasing you. Yushi. I'm going to call the police if you do this again. Is this how you should be chasing someone? This is purely perverted. Ancestor. I'm not even willing to go to prison for you. What kind of true love is this? Go ahead and call the police. I'm not afraid. At most, I'll just be locked up for a few days. I'll be out soon. Yushi. Yushi. I like men. Ancestor. What a coincidence. I like men too. Yushi. Shuju was in despair. He asked Chengming to meet him. Chengming came directly to the company. As soon as he entered the office, he saw Shuju sitting there with a terrible expression. What's wrong? Why did you call me here in such a hurry? Shuju turned the laptop in front of him to Chengming. This person has been harassing me. Help me check her IP address. Chengming raised his eyebrows and bent over to look at the records on the screen. Little fans these days are so crazy. And she's an author? Yes. This is her pen name? Chengming had already opened the website and searched for the word ancestor. Such a name was indeed enough. She's a contracted author. There's her information on the platform. Just look at it. Shuju did not know that Shisheng had signed a book before. Hearing Chengming's words, he looked at the computer. The novel that she had signed a contract for. Chengming had already pulled up the information. She looks familiar. The identity card was a scanned copy, so it was a little blurry. Xine, do you know her? Shuju stared at the uglier identity card photo on the copy. Shuju said slowly. She's the girl who was with Mingming last time. The one who kissed you? Chengming whistled casually and joked. This little girl is quite capable. Capable of harassing him? Shuju picked up the internal phone. Ask Xine from the editorial department to come over. When Shisheng came in, Chengming happened to leave. He winked at Shisheng and mouthed, good luck. Asterisk Shuju. Yao Yaoling, there's a pervert harassing me. Yao Yaoling. Sorry, the number you dialed is not in service. Shuju. Confused, continue dialing. Yao Yaoling. I've already transferred your call to your family. Shisheng, come back and cook. Shuju. Frightened. Chapter 742. Shisheng entered the office. Shisheng could only use one word to describe the office's style. White. Other than a few pots of decorative plants, everything else was white. Shisheng. Why did he feel like he was in a mental hospital? Shuju sat behind his desk, wearing only a white shirt. His sleeves were slightly rolled up, revealing his fair forearms. He pursed his lips slightly and looked at Shisheng. Chief Editor Shu. Shisheng stopped looking around and walked up to him obediently. Shuju turned the laptop around. What do you want? Shisheng glanced at him and said without changing his expression. Chief Editor Shu, I'm wooing you. Shuju stood up immediately. You're harassing me. Okay, it's harassment. Shisheng admitted. I'm deeply sorry for the inconvenience. To express my apology, I'll treat Chief Editor Shu to a meal. Shuju. Shisheng's eyes curved into crescents as she smiled. She looked harmless, just like a little girl who was not deeply involved in the world. The strange feeling from before came again. He had never had that kind of dream since high school. But after meeting her last time, he had a few consecutive nights, and that person was standing right in front of him. Shuju seemed to smell a faint fragrance from the girl in front of him. It was exactly the same smell as in his dream. Shuju lowered his gaze. No need. He sat back down and turned the laptop back to him. Don't do this kind of thing again. Shisheng took a few steps forward. How can I do that? If I don't treat you to a meal, how can I express my apology? Get out. Okay. I'll get out. Don't be so angry. It's not good for your health. Shisheng left the office resentfully. Click. The office door closed. Shuju's tense body relaxed. He tugged at his collar. His heartbeat, which had been suppressed by him, seemed to be relieved at this moment. It sped up. Shuju rubbed his forehead. After a long time, he sent a message to Cheng Ming. Knock knock, come in. Shuju put down his phone. The assistant came in with a cup of coffee. Chief Editor Shu, your coffee. Shuju frowned. Who asked you to bring it in? He did not ask anyone to bring in the coffee. Wasn't it you? The assistant was confused. When Xiane came out just now, she said, got it. The assistant shut up in confusion and left the room. Shuju took a sip of the coffee. The aroma of the coffee filled his mouth, and he completely relaxed. The people in the editorial department thought that Shisheng had been called away for something, but she came back unscathed. The people in the editorial department were obviously disappointed. What did my cousin call you for? Song Mingzi slipped over to the Shisheng's side and asked in a low voice. He told me not to harass him. You harassed him? Why didn't she know? Every day, she went to work with Shuju. If Shisheng harassed her cousin, how could she not know? Shisheng took a sip of water and said, of course. If I don't take a liking to him, should I wait for him to get married and have children before dating his son? Song Mingzi's mouth twitched. That makes sense. How did you harass him? Shisheng took a sip of water and unlocked the computer. He pointed at the dialog box that was still open. That's it. Song Mingzi went over and read it from beginning to end. After reading it, she sighed. It's a miracle that my cousin didn't call the police to arrest you. Based on the level of harassment, she would definitely be arrested. Shisheng snorted arrogantly. He can't bear to. Even if Feng Xiai didn't have any memories and was affected by his personality, his feelings for her would not change. You haven't taken my cousin down yet. Song Mingzi despised her. Don't cry when you fail in the future. Although she really wanted to get someone to take Shuju so that she could have a happy relationship, Shuju was not that easy to woo. With me there is no failure. Song Mingzi continued to despise her. She knew how to boast, but she had to succeed. Shisheng inched closer to Song Mingzi. The smile on Song Mingzi's face was a bit strange. Shisheng's figure was reflected in her eyes, clear as a mirror. Those eyes were pitch black, as if there was a man-eating monster hiding in them. Song Mingzi's breathing became heavier. Her back was cold, and she swallowed with difficulty. Just as she was about to move away from Shisheng, she heard her say, "Either you succeed, or we die together." Failure often represented disappointment. Every time, he would hold the thought of perishing together with his opponent. In order to survive, failure would not allow him to leave. Song Mingzi backed away and almost bumped into the desk behind her. Shisheng sat up straight and tapped the desk casually. Song Mingzi carefully glanced at Shisheng. Her side profile was quiet and peaceful. There was no trace of the gloominess from before. Song Mingzi shook her head and looked at Shisheng carefully. After confirming that she was no different from usual, she patted her chest and heaved a sigh of relief. "I must be too tired recently. I won't stay up tonight. I need to have a good rest." Song Mingzi rubbed her face and returned to her desk. "I think I saw Xie just now." "I saw him too. Didn't Chief Editor Nie go down? I thought they were having an affair last year. All the good men are gay. What are we going to do about it?" When Shisheng started eating, the girls behind her were discussing Xie and Niecheng. They were still discussing it when she finished eating. After the incident last year, Shisheng only saw Niecheng during the meeting. However, the male lead ignored her completely. She didn't know what he was thinking. Editors were usually busy on Friday afternoons. When Shisheng was done, it was almost 7 o'clock. Most of the editorial staff were still there. Song Mingzi, who was just a bystander, was still chatting enthusiastically with the author. Anyway, Shisheng didn't see her working seriously. Beep beep. Shisheng was about to turn off the computer when a message came in. Shisheng opened it. "Olu, is editor here?" Deep ice. She had some impression of Olu. She was a rising star in Tanmaiwan. "Olu. Editor, someone copied my story. I made a palette." Olu sent a few pictures to Shisheng. "Olu. I released it earlier than him. Whether it's the plot or some of the descriptions, he copied me." Shisheng looked at the pictures. They were screenshots of Xie Yan's new book, Don't Flirt with the Innocent. It was the same as Olu's Guru, I Want to Marry You. The content was highly similar. Shisheng opened the comments section of Xie Yan's book. It was full of comments about his plagiarism. Although Olu was a newcomer, she had a lot of fans. Now that she was found plagiarizing, her fans were going to explode. "My male lead is amazing. He even knows how to plagiarize." Asterisk, the titles of the above books are purely fictional. If there is any similarity, it is purely a failure. You don't have to remind me, I won't listen. Chapter 743. The news of Xie Yan plagiarizing a newcomer spread like wildfire in the writer's circle. As Olu's editor, Shisheng had to fight for the interests of his writers. However, Niecheng was in charge of Xie Yan, so he had to deal with him. Shisheng looked at the time. He replied to Olu, "Deep well ice. I'll take care of it." "Olu. Thank you, editor." Shisheng got up and walked to Niecheng's office. Niecheng was alone in his office. When he saw Shisheng, his expression said, "What are you doing here? You're not welcome here." Shisheng closed the door. "Chief Editor Nie." "What's the matter?" "Chief Editor Nie, shouldn't you give me an explanation about Yan Yeji's plagiarism?" "What plagiarism?" Niecheng frowned and said in a low voice, "Sinny, don't look for trouble. It's easy for me to fire you." "Fire her? Who the hell do you think you are?" Shisheng said softly. "Chief Editor Nie, I'm just discussing work with you. Why are you talking about firing me?" It was a very soft voice, but it made Niecheng feel as if the temperature around him had dropped. It was eerie. Niecheng shivered and said angrily, "Sinny, don't think too highly of yourself. He was the chief editor, and she was just an editor. How dare she challenge him?" Shisheng glanced at Niecheng calmly and said sarcastically, "If you don't think highly of yourself, who would think highly of you?" "What's the matter?" Niecheng couldn't win against Shisheng, so he asked impatiently. Shisheng's expression changed quickly, and he shrugged innocently. "I've already said that Chief Editor Nie is sick and needs to be treated." Niecheng's eyes flashed with malice, but he wasn't as angry as before. "You said plagiarism. Do you have evidence?" I've already sent you the document. You can take a look. He wouldn't say anything without evidence. Niecheng took a few deep breaths and opened his email. He found the document sent by Shisheng. Niecheng's expression became uglier and uglier as he read the emails. Chief Editor Nie, are you trying to cover for him again? Shisheng paused. It's normal for you to cover for him. After all, he's your lover. Shut up. Niecheng scolded as he glanced outside. This was the company. What if someone heard her talking like that? Shisheng snorted and said, What are you afraid of? Everyone in the company knows that you have an affair with Xie Yan. Niecheng had no time to care about the rumors in the company. He had to work and was busy flirting with Xie Yan. What did you say? Oh, it seems like Chief Editor Nie doesn't know yet. Shisheng dragged her words. The smile on her lips was like a sharp knife that stabbed into Niecheng's heart. I said, the company already knows about you and Xie Yan. Niecheng stood up abruptly and pressed his palms against the table. Like an enraged lion, he glared at Shisheng with gritted teeth. Did you say that? She saw it that night. The company knew about it. If it wasn't her, then who did? You can eat whatever you want, but you can't say whatever you want. If I say anything, the company already knows. After all. Shisheng glanced at Niecheng with a faint smile. After all, she had already hooked up with her ex-boyfriend in her house. Then how did they know? Niecheng came out from behind the table. Xine, are you trying to get back at me? Or are you trying to take Xie Yan back? Let me tell you, it's impossible. Shisheng was speechless. Who gave you the confidence to think that I liked that idiot Xie Yan? Shisheng fearlessly looked into Niecheng's eyes. Niecheng, we're talking about plagiarism. Niecheng sneered. You're fired. You don't have to come to work tomorrow. Shisheng was speechless. F***ck. Why did you fire me? I didn't do anything wrong. Firing I would cost you money. Because I'm the chief editor. What's so great about being the chief editor? You're not the CEO of the company. Chief editor, you're amazing. Shisheng sneered. Can you represent the entire company? I have the right to fire someone. Xne, I've told you not to go against me. Niecheng was determined to fire Shisheng. How could Shisheng let Niecheng have his way? He was going to find someone to tell on him. As soon as he opened the office door, he saw two people going downstairs in the elevator. Chief Editor Xu. Shisheng immediately called out. Xu Ju instinctively turned around and saw Shisheng waving at him with a smile. Cheng Ming, who had already entered the elevator, popped his head out to take a look. Then he got out of the elevator and pushed Xu Ju toward Shisheng. Young lady, why are you still in the company so late? You're so dedicated. How about I give you an award at the end of the year? Cheng Ming always spoke with a hint of sarcasm. Shisheng pursed his lips and looked at Xu Ju with his sparkling eyes. Someone wants to fire me for revenge. Chief Editor Xu, you can't just watch a good employee like me get fired like this, right? Xu Ju's gaze met Shisheng's for only a second before he looked away. Who wants to fire you? Cheng Ming looked behind Shisheng. It wasn't clear what he saw, but his expression suddenly darkened. The sharpness between his brows lost its concealment. Xu Ju followed Cheng Ming's gaze. Niecheng stood at the door with a complicated expression on his face. He looked like he was filled with hatred and jealousy. Shisheng was a little confused. What was going on? Cheng Ming suddenly turned around and whispered in Xu Ju's ear. I'll wait for you downstairs. Although his voice was soft, Niecheng still heard it. He instinctively chased after him, and then stopped with a complicated expression on his face. He happened to stand beside Shisheng. Who wants to fire you? Xu Ju did not show any abnormality because of Cheng Ming's departure. It's him. It's him. Shisheng pointed at Niecheng, who was still a little out of it. He wants to fire me for revenge. The little expert of tattletale came online. When there was a chance to tattletale, one had to do it. Who knew if one would be in trouble the next second? Forgive me for not being convinced by my host's logic. What kind of twisted logic is this? Niecheng came back to his senses and shouted. Xini. What? Aren't you the one who wants to fire me? Shisheng turned around and glared at him. Why are you so loud? I'm not sick. I can hear you. Why did you fire her? Shuju looked at Niecheng. Shuju felt that firing her was the right choice, but he did not know why. But when he thought of not being able to see her in the company, he felt very uncomfortable. Niecheng did not expect Shuju to stand up for Shisheng. The two of them did not have much interaction. Why did he help her? She's my employee. What I want to do is none of your business. Shisheng, someone bullied me. Feng Xiai, you're not the one who bullied others? Shisheng, I'm not a bully. Little fairy, you're a murderer. Shisheng, draws sword. Little fairy, look. Feng Xiai, no matter what my wife is like, I like her. Chapter 744. Be reasonable. Who's your man? Shisheng was furious. I'm Chief Editor Shu's man. I'm Chief Editor Shu's man. I'll be Chief Editor Shu's man even after I die. What a shameless line. But she liked it. Ha ha ha. Shuju, Niecheng. There was a moment of silence in the room. After Shisheng confessed, he stared at Shuju. Shuju felt uncomfortable and wanted to leave. How could this woman be so shameless? Shuju took a deep breath and suppressed the ripples in his heart because of Shisheng's words. Niecheng, what did she do wrong? I didn't do anything wrong. Shisheng took over and recounted everything that had happened. Just now, an author reported me that someone was plagiarizing his work. That person just happened to be Editor-in-Chief Nia's subordinate, so I went to talk some sense into him. He wanted to fire me without a word. Shisheng took the initiative. If looks could kill, Shisheng would have been a corpse by now. This is a matter of the women's channel. Shuju, you'd better mind your own business. Shuju's position was higher than his, but Niecheng was not afraid of him. The shares of the two families were equal in the company. Look, he's threatening you. Shisheng continued to fan the flames. Niecheng's eyes reddened. Sinny. He had been too kind to this woman, making her think that he was easy to bully. Shisheng provoked Niecheng arrogantly. What are you looking at? Haven't you seen a bootlicker before? Shuju almost couldn't control his facial expression. He had never seen a bootlicker who dared to speak so confidently. Come to work here tomorrow. Really? Shisheng immediately forgot about the retarded Niecheng. Aren't you afraid that I'll harass you? Shuju. Niecheng couldn't say anything about Shuju's decision. He could fire Shisheng, but he couldn't stop Shuju from continuing to use Shisheng. Shuju turned and left. Shisheng gave Niecheng the middle finger. Thank Feng Xiai. Otherwise you'd be dead. Niecheng gritted his teeth in anger. When they got into the elevator, Niecheng returned to his office and dialed a number with a gloomy face. Shisheng followed Shuju downstairs. He really plagiarized. Should we ban his book? Shuju spoke unhurriedly. The company has zero tolerance for plagiarism. Send it to my email, and I'll send someone to deal with it. Shisheng blinked. But this is a female channel. Won't it cause you trouble? The last thing she wanted was to cause trouble for Feng Xiai. All he needed to do was to look good. Just now, she wanted to find an excuse to get close to him. After all, this guy seemed to dislike women. This strange setting was really too much. Shuju's answer was very official. This represents the image of a website. Shisheng was speechless. My job is so professional. Outside the company, Chengming leaned against the car door. When he saw Shisheng and Shuju coming out, he raised his eyebrows and said quickly, My family just called me and asked me to go back. I won't see you off today. Chengming opened the car door, got into the car and sped off. Shuju. Let me give you a ride, Chief Editor Shu. He thanked Chengming for his help. Shuju glanced at Shisheng and did not say anything. Shisheng took it as a yes and went to get his car. Shisheng's car was not considered good. In fact, it could be considered the lowest grade among the cars in the area. Chengming's car was a luxury car. Shuju refused to lower himself to sit in such a car. He felt uncomfortable all over, so he refused to get in. Chief Editor Shu, what do you want? Shisheng got out of the driver's seat and walked up to Shuju. I bought this car for more than 100,000 yuan. Why do you dislike it so much? Why was this idiot so nosy? Shuju shook his head slightly and turned to walk to the sidewalk. Sheng. Quiet, hard to please, misophobic. The word Song Mingzi had said about Shuju kept echoing in Sheng's mind. What if he wanted to hit someone? Sheng chased after him in annoyance. Chief Editor Shu, there's no subway for you at this time. Can't you just bear with it? Can't you say something? Chief Editor Shu, Shuju? Uncle Shu. Sheng grabbed Shuju's wrist and forced him to turn around. Shuju felt uncomfortable being pulled by Sheng. He struggled but could not break free. His stomach was churning. This was a physiological reaction. He did not dislike Sheng. Shuju did not know why, but he did not want Sheng to know. So he endured the discomfort and pursed his lips. What do you want? Tell me. If you don't talk, I will tie you up and bring you back. The car. Shuju spat out a word with difficulty. It's not clean. Sheng. What do you mean it's not clean? She just washed it. Damn it, you're so troublesome. I'm not going to serve you anymore. Sheng let go of Shuju and strode away. Shuju watched as Sheng's figure gradually disappeared. He walked to the side and retched. He did not hate women. It was just that when a woman touched him, he would have this physiological reaction. Over time, he felt that women were very troublesome creatures. Shuju vomited for a while. When he felt better, he stood up and touched his wrist. It seemed that her body temperature was still there. It was a very strange feeling. Shuju was about to call Qingming when he realized that his phone was not in his pocket. He was stunned. His phone seemed to be with Qingming. Honk honk honk. The sound of a car horn attracted Shuju's attention. He rolled down the car window and saw the person inside. New car. Are you satisfied, Grandpa Shu? Sheng was practically grinding her teeth as she spoke. Fortunately, there was a 4S shop nearby. Otherwise, Sheng would have really left this guy here. Shuju hesitated for a few seconds before opening the car door and getting in. Address. Shuju silently set up the car's navigation system. Sheng. My chief editor. You are amazing. Can't you open your mouth to speak other than when you're working? Sheng walked Shuju to the door of the apartment and looked outside. Chief Editor Shu. Do you need someone to warm your bed? It's free. Shuju's hand that was opening the car door paused. He stared at the brightly lit apartment outside. After a while he turned his head. However, the moment he turned his head, he met Sheng's lips. Unlike the first time, Sheng gently bit him. Shuju's body stiffened for a moment. He only felt the softness on his lips. Something in his heart wanted to break through the seal and see the light again. However, in the next second, his stomach started to churn. He felt as if something was crawling all over his body. The result was self-evident. Shuju vomited again. Shuju had already vomited once. At this moment, his face was pale as if he wanted to vomit out his stomach. Sheng stood beside him and watched him vomit silently. This was definitely an illness. It was fine the first time, but the second time. Chapter 745. Ever since he found out about this, Shuju had been avoiding contact with women, so he hadn't felt so uncomfortable in a long time. Are you feeling better? Sheng wanted to help him up, but he was afraid that it would make him feel even more uncomfortable. He had seen all kinds of weird people with allergies, but this was the first time he had seen someone with an allergic reaction to a woman. Shuju shook his head and took a sip of water. Before he could swallow it, he spat it out again. He held the bottle against the headlights and silently put the cap back on. Sheng. What did he mean by that? Thank you for sending me back. Shuju walked back to the apartment with the bottle, but stopped after 2 steps. He stood there for a few seconds, then left without saying a word. How infuriating. What kind of weird setting was this? Couldn't it be a normal one? She wanted a normal and cute fengxi. Sheng scratched his head in frustration as he watched Shuju walk into the apartment and disappear around the corner. Sheng went home gloomily. He told Olu about the results and sent the documents to Shuju. Shuju received them quickly, but he didn't say anything. That idiot. Sheng pushed his computer away angrily and got up to take a shower. When he came out of the shower, he glanced at his computer and saw Shuju's profile picture jump. Shisheng dried his hair and clicked on it. Yi done. There was no other message other than these 3 words. Shisheng was about to type when a row of words jumped out. Then the profile picture dimmed. Yishi, I don't dislike you. It's because of my body. Sorry. Shisheng's anger finally subsided a little. If he didn't explain, she was going to kidnap him tomorrow. Ancestor, I think we need to practice more. Maybe you won't vomit when you get used to it. Shuju didn't go offline. There was only this message on the screen. He looked at the words that jumped out and touched his lips. His fingers tapped on the keyboard, and in the end, he deleted everything and retyped it. Yushi, a film company is interested in buying Flower God. You need to finish the rest. Ancestor. I don't want to. Flower God was the film Shisheng used to earn money. She didn't want to fill the hole. Yushi, you are very talented. The company is willing to support you. Ancestor, just marry me. Yushi, think about it. Send me the main text of Gusu excursions tomorrow. Ancestor, Grandpa, can I call you Grandpa? I have to go to work tomorrow. Yushiya. Ancestor. What does mean? Chief Editor Shu, it's wrong for you to encourage editors to write articles. Why don't you marry me? You kept talking about marrying her. Normal people would think that you were worried about marriage. Shuju took a long time to reply. Yushi, Xang we've only met a few times. Ancestor. But you know me well, don't you? Yushi. How did you know? Ancestor. Because I have one too. Shuju stared at the words and didn't know what to say. He typed the words in the box, deleted them, wrote them, and deleted them. Just as he was hesitating, Chengming's message suddenly came in. Chengming, how was your day? Yushi, she kissed me. Shuju urgently needed someone to help him sort things out. Chengming, you threw up again? Yushiya. Chengming, if I were a girl, I'd be traumatized. I kissed you twice and you threw up. Yushi. She didn't mind at all. At least he didn't see anything on her face. Shuju supported his chin and typed with one hand. Chengming, that's good. It's not easy to find a girl like her. Don't miss out. Yushi Chengming. Chengming ya? Yushi, I'm really not. Chengming. Why don't you believe me? You. Forget it. Do you want to try? I'm coming over now. If you can accept me, then I have nothing to say. Don't worry, I'll be responsible for you. Yushi, I'll think about it. Shuju only realized that the names were different after replying. Ancestor. You can think about it. Let me pursue you. Yushi, I'll think about it. Shuju held his forehead and switched to Chengming's chat. Yushi, no need. Chengming, haha, are you scared? Chengming, I've been in this circle for so many years. I can tell who's who. Shuju, have a good relationship. As a brother, I don't want to see you and Miss Wuji being lovey-dovey. It's a waste. Yushi, my body. Chengming, you can't not fall in love for the rest of your life because of your body, right? Now there's a girl who doesn't mind. When she kisses you, you vomit. Aha. This joke is enough to make you laugh for a year. Yushi Chengming. Chengming, ahem. This girl is quite bold. You don't dislike her, right? Don't deny it. I've known you for so long. I know your personality very well. Since you don't dislike her, then work hard. You'll never take this step. You'll always be stuck in the same place. Shuju was silent for a while and typed a few words. Yushi, I know. Shuju closed the chat with Chengming. Ancestor. Stop wasting time. I'm going to sleep. This message was sent a minute ago. Shuju stared at it for a while before closing the chat. Shuju slept late the first night and was late the next day. Songmingzi kept chattering in his ear. Cousin, why do you look so haggard today? What did you do last night? Shuju parked the car expressionlessly and unbuckled his seatbelt. Songmingzi quickly followed. Cousin. Songmingzi's sharp eyes saw Shisheng sitting in a car that had been upgraded overnight. She instantly forgot about her cousin. Xiao-yi, are you a sugar baby? This car seems to be the latest model. It's worth a few million, right? Shisheng pointed at his face. Do I look like a sugar baby to you? No. Songmingzi shook her head. So, did you win the lottery? Shisheng opened the car door and carried a few bags of food from the side. Ah, Xiaoyi, you brought me breakfast. You're so nice. Song Mingzi reached out to take the food. Shisheng gave one of the bags to her and chased after Shuju, who was about to enter the company. Song Mingzi. Why did she only have one bag? Hoes before bros. It was already past the rush hour, and there was no one in the elevator. Shuju went in and did not press the button to close the door. He waited for it to close itself. The door closed. Just as the elevator door was about to close, a figure rushed in. Good morning, Chief Editor Shu. Shuju lowered his eyes slightly and glanced at her face quickly. He forced himself to be calm and nodded. I brought you breakfast. Shisheng waved the bag in his hand and handed it to him with a smile. Shuju looked at the labels on the bag. They were all the restaurants he usually ate at. But these restaurants were quite far away from each other, and she actually bought all of them. Thank you. Shuju reached out to take it. As a qualified suitor, this is a must. What do you think, Chief Editor Shu? Shuju's fingers tightened and the bag made a slight noise. Chapter 746. When Shuju didn't know how to answer, the elevator arrived. He quickly went out and said, Pack your things and report to the office. Shisheng shrugged as she watched Shuju's slightly flustered back. No matter how I look at it, it's fun. Shisheng went to the editing department to pack his things. The people there didn't know what had happened and looked at him strangely. Song Mingzi rushed in with a pastry in her mouth. Xiaoyi. After shouting, she realized that something was wrong. She looked carefully and saw Shisheng packing his things. Song Mingzi immediately rushed out and swallowed the pastry in her mouth. Xiaoyi, why are you packing? Song Mingzi left early yesterday and didn't know what had happened. The others also pricked up their ears and waited for Shisheng's answer. Shisheng hooked his finger at Song Mingzi. Song Mingzi leaned over knowingly, the expression on her face changing. Really? Shisheng put the last item into the box and nodded slightly. Amazing. Looks like I have to change my way of addressing you. Song Mingzi gave Shisheng a thumbs up. Change fee. Remember. Song Mingzi put her arm around Shisheng's shoulder and walked out of the editing department. The rest of the people were confused. What was going on? After they left the editing department, Song Mingzi went back to the car. But I still want to ask, where did you get your car? I bought it. Why would I steal it? It's millions. She couldn't afford it and had to ride on her cousin's car every day. Sometimes she couldn't get on and had to squeeze into the subway. She was so pitiful. If your brother wants it, I'll buy it even if it's tens of millions, Shisheng complained. I drove the car last night and he didn't get in. I told you that he's hard to please. It's not too late to change your mind. Girl, don't jump into the fire pit. Shisheng sighed. I'll jump into the fire pit even if it's a mountain of swords or a sea of flames. He was Feng Xi after all. Song Mingzi. They hadn't even started dating yet, and he was already swearing to be with her through life and death? This was not in line with the normal routine. Chief Editor Nya, that's about it. Shisheng and Song Mingzi turned the corner and bumped into the person in front of them. A cold smile appeared on Nye Cheng's face. He walked past her with his men, bringing along a gust of cold wind. Pretentious. Song Mingzi snorted. Nye Cheng wanted to stir up trouble. The last thing I'm afraid of is causing trouble. Song Mingzi sent the Shisheng to Shuju's office. When she turned around, she saw a few girls who were pretending to follow behind her. After being caught by Song Mingzi, these girls immediately turned and left. When Shisheng entered Shuju's office, Shuju was already working. The breakfast she bought was placed beside him, untouched. When she entered, Shuju only raised his head to look at her, then casually lowered his head and quickly finished knocking. Aren't you hungry? Shuju was puzzled for a moment before he reacted. I don't have time. They're all cold. Shisheng leaned forward and touched the bags. Do you have a microwave? I'll warm it up for you. Shuju pointed outside. Shisheng took the bags out and asked the assistant outside where the microwave was. The assistant was dumbfounded. Wasn't he the one doing this in the past? Although it was strange, The assistant still pointed to the location for Shisheng. Shisheng took the bags back in. Shuju was still working. Eat first. Shisheng knocked on the table. Shuju didn't refuse. He got up and walked to the sofa beside him. Shuju usually didn't eat breakfast. Sometimes it was because he couldn't afford it, and sometimes it was because no one bought it. Song Mingzi was a foodie. The breakfast she bought wasn't even enough for herself. Why would she care if her cousin ate or not? I've eaten. Shisheng opened the bags for him and flipped his fair hands in front of him. I washed my hands and disinfected them. They're very clean. Look. Okay. Shuju lowered his head and ate his breakfast quietly. His stomach was a little uncomfortable. Shuju endured the discomfort and quickly finished his breakfast. Her assistant brought her a cup of coffee. Shisheng took it and took a sip. That cup? Why do you drink coffee in the morning? It's not good for your health. Shuju looked at the cup in her hand. His lips pursed and his Adam's apple bobbed a few times. He didn't say anything. Shisheng helped him finish his coffee. Shuju also finished his breakfast. Shuju went to the bathroom for a while. When he came out, there was no smell of food on him. He sat behind his desk with a pale face. I've seen your interview video. Is it okay for you to be in charge of the mail channel? Shisheng glared at him. Isn't it good for me to be your personal assistant? What mail channel? A bunch of studs. He wanted to spit at them. After being spat at by her, would they still have the courage to write? I have an assistant. Shuju paused. He didn't want to admit it. You'll affect me. I won't say anything, okay? Shisheng pursed his lips. You can leave the company. Shisheng quickly surrendered. Fine. I'll take the mail channel. As long as I can see you. I'll snatch you back when I'm tired of you. Shuju called an internal line and asked someone to come in and pick him up. After hanging up the phone, Shuju remembered what he said last night. What about your text? I don't want to write. Shisheng answered uninterestedly. What was there to write? She didn't even manage to get a man. Shuju didn't say anything. He lowered his head and busied himself. In fact, he didn't do anything. Her presence here would indeed affect him. He couldn't concentrate. The mail channel staff came to pick him up. Everyone had met each other during the meeting, so there was no need for a self-introduction. However, when they saw a female channel editor being transferred to the male channel, they were still a little stunned. Shisheng left the office. Shuju sat for a while and asked his assistant to bring him a cup of coffee. Of course, the cup was the original one. Shuju looked at the steaming hot coffee. When the coffee was cold, he slowly reached out, picked up the coffee, and brought it to his mouth. The moment his lips touched the edge of the cup, he felt nauseous. Shuju put down the cup and strode to the bathroom. He almost vomited everything that he had eaten just now. He endured it and didn't let her find out. Shuju held the sink and lowered his head. Suddenly he punched the sink. He washed his face with cold water and drank the coffee in one gulp. When the cold liquid entered his esophagus, it seemed to chill his heart. However, before the liquid could completely enter his stomach, Shuju vomited it all out. Shuju asked his assistant to bring him more coffee. The coffee seemed to be tasteless and only made him nauseous. The assistant brought him more coffee 5 or 6 times. When Shuju asked him to continue, the assistant couldn't help but advise him. Chief Editor Shu, this coffee. Don't you think you drank too much? He didn't even know how to drink plain water. How could he tolerate drinking it like this? Drinking too much coffee would cause trouble. Continue. The assistant hesitated for a moment. Yes. Shisheng. What if the man doesn't let you sleep with him? Little fairy, most likely he's just acting. Just give him a beating. Shisheng, you're right. Come here, and let me beat you up. Little fairy. What does it have to do with me? Shisheng. If you don't sleep with your son-in-law, who will I beat up if not you? Little fairy. You're the one who didn't work hard. How can you blame me? I'm not your scapegoat. Shisheng. Drawing his sword. Chapter 747. When Shisheng got off work, she sneaked into Shuju's office to look for him, only to be told that Shuju had already left. Shi Sheng went downstairs in disappointment and saw Song Mingzi, who didn't leave early for once. Xiao Yi, is the mail channel fun? You didn't see Nie Cheng's face today. Ha ha ha, it's so funny. Song Mingzi was eating something that tasted like cream. There's nothing fun about it. Did you hold hands with my cousin? Song Mingzi moved closer to Shi Sheng. Shi Sheng rolled her eyes. If I held his hand, wouldn't he vomit and get pregnant? She didn't want to get pregnant just because they held hands. You're right. My cousin's weird body constitution makes him feel nauseous for half a day when a woman touches something. Song Mingzi muttered. I saw that my cousin's face was especially pale just now. Did you do something to him? No. Shi Sheng frowned. She suddenly remembered that his face was a little pale after breakfast this morning. He felt nauseous for half a day when she touched him. Shi Sheng was speechless. This illness was much more serious than the previous ones. How could they be happy together like this? The male channel editorial department was bigger than the female channel, and there were a few more people. Other than Shi Sheng, there were no women. Once Shi Sheng left, she immediately became a flower in the male channel. The editor of the male channel had always thought that Shi Sheng was a cold girl, but after interacting with her, he realized that her editor name wasn't for nothing. She was a deep iceberg who would attack people whenever she didn't agree with them. She would attack people until they were speechless and felt that what she said made sense. Shi Sheng was in charge of urban novels in the male channel. There were already 2 editors in urban novels, and 3 if she was included. To be honest, Shi Sheng had no desire to continue reading when she saw that the male leads in urban novels were still thinking about running outside. She picked out novels with single female leads or no female leads. As long as it was well written and had potential, she would recommend it. She didn't even look at the other genres. Either you write a novel with a single female lead, or you write a novel with a different editor or genre. She was definitely the first editor in history who was so willful. Soon, a storm of single female leads started on the website. Of course, this was a story for another time. As for Xu Ju, other than when she delivered breakfast every day, she rarely saw him at other times, not to mention Xu Ju's business trips every 3 to 5 days. Xu Ju was the editor-in-chief of the company, and was responsible for the operations of the entire company. It was normal for him to be busy. But, how was she going to pick up girls like this? Ba chase after Feng Xiai. Yo Xiao Yi, what are you writing? While Shi Sheng was typing on the keyboard, a man suddenly popped his head out and looked at Shi Sheng's computer screen. Shi Sheng was not afraid that he would see it. A series of words jumped out quickly. Xiao Yi, you write novels too? The man asked in surprise. Although editors couldn't write on their own websites, they could use their fake accounts to go to other websites. He couldn't post it on his own website because he was afraid that the editor would abuse his position and give him bad recommendations. According to Shi Sheng's knowledge, there were several people who wrote novels in this editorial department, and some of them had good grades. An editor who doesn't write novels isn't a good editor, Shi Sheng said with a solemn expression. The corner of the male editor's mouth twitched. You're so serious. I almost believed you. Hey Xiao Yi, you know about the plagiarism incident in the female channel a few days ago, right? Shi Sheng closed the document. What's wrong? Since Xu Ju ordered to block Xie Yan's article, this incident should be over. Xie Yan was in the wrong, and it was not easy for Nie Cheng to clear his name. It was lunch break, and there were not many people in the editorial department. The male editor whispered. I heard that editor-in-chief Nie has an ambiguous relationship with that author. Is it true? You're so nosy about Nie Cheng. Are you interested in him? Shi Sheng raised his eyebrows. I like women. The male editor was speechless. My wife and I have been married for 3 years, and our child is more than a year old. Shi Sheng. Dog abuse. The male editor still felt that it was not enough. He took out his phone and showed Shi Sheng the photos, stuffing him with dog food. One day, I want to show off my dog food too. Shi Sheng finally got rid of the male editor who was stuffing him with dog food. He decided to flirt with Xu Ju to find balance. Ancestor. Chief Editor Xu, let's talk about life. Yushi busy. After that, no matter what Shi Sheng said, Xu Ju did not reply. Sheng guessed that he was really busy, so he went to find him after work. He was alone in the office, and his assistant had already left. "Why don't you go home?" Xu Ju looked up from the documents and asked Sheng, who was leaning against the table. "I'm waiting for you. You're so beautiful. What if someone takes a fancy to you?" Xu Ju lowered his head. "Cheng Ming will come and pick me up." Sheng narrowed his eyes. "What's your relationship with Cheng Ming?" In the novel, Cheng Ming was a big villain. He used to be in a relationship with Nie Cheng, but they broke up for some reason. Xu Ju explained instinctively. "Friend, don't think too much." After explaining, he felt that it was unnecessary. Why did he have to explain it to her? Sheng put his hands on the table and leaned over. "You'd rather he pick you up than let me drive you? Do you hate me that much?" She was not afraid of having a love rival, but she was afraid that they were not of the same gender. "No," Xu Ju retorted. His voice was a little loud, but he probably realized it himself and lowered his voice. "I don't hate you." He did not know how to get along with her. "Then I'll send you home. That's all." The domineering CEO Sheng was online. Xu Ju was silent for a while. He packed his things and prepared to take them home. Sheng did not dare to touch his things, so he could only let him pack up by himself. At this time, the whole building was empty. Sheng and Xu Ju walked out of the office and passed by the editorial department of the Women's Channel. When they reached the door of the editorial department, they suddenly heard a sound coming from inside. To Sheng, it was easy to tell what that voice was. Men and women, that's all. The sound was getting louder and louder, making people blush. Xu Ju felt uncomfortable and quickly walked to the elevator. After entering the elevator, Xu Ju's body was still tense. Sheng turned to look at him, but Xu Ju avoided his eyes. On the way back, Sheng felt that Xu Ju was avoiding him. "Chief Editor Xu, remember to call me if you need someone to warm your bed." Sheng shouted at Xu Ju's back. Xu Ju seemed to stagger and quickly left in the direction of the car's headlights. When the car's headlights disappeared, Xu Ju let out an uncomfortable breath. The whole car was filled with her scent. This was the reason why he did not want her to send him home. He was afraid that he would vomit if he could not hold it in. When Xu Ju reached home, he poured himself a cup of water and drank it quickly. After a slight nausea, he did not feel like vomiting. Some instincts could be controlled, even if it was a physiological reaction. Feng Xie. Why am I sick? Little fairy, because you are sick. Feng Xie. Chapter 748. It was almost 11 o'clock when Sheng returned to the neighborhood. The neighborhood was quiet, and there was no one in sight. Sheng parked his car and walked through the green area. In the darkness, there seemed to be footsteps overlapping with hers. Sheng did not seem to notice and walked forward at a leisurely pace. "Don't move." Sheng felt something hard against his waist, and a hoarse voice came from behind him. "Hand over all your money, bank cards, and cell phones." The other party seemed to be a repeat offender, and sounded very experienced. "Hurry up." A figure appeared in front of Sheng, but the thing that was pressing against her did not disappear. There were two people. "You dare to rob me? You've got guts, huh?" As soon as he finished speaking, Sheng lifted his leg and swept it backward. The other party was caught off guard and was kicked in the calf. He took a few steps back. When the other person saw this, he immediately pounced on Sheng. Sheng took out his iron sword and swung it at the other person. The iron sword grazed his head and a chill ran down his spine. It was as if someone had hit the pause button, and he lost control of his body. He could only watch helplessly as the girl in front of him kicked him. Sheng flipped the two people to the ground and stepped on the back of the person on top of him. "Come tell me. Who sent you?" "Oh my God. We just need some money. Please be magnanimous and let us go this time. We won't dare to do it again." Robber A immediately cried and begged for mercy. Robber B echoed, "Heroine, we won't dare to do it again." "You just want to rob me?" Sheng asked in a strange tone as he used his iron sword to lift Robber A. Yes. We deserve to die. We shouldn't have robbed you. We won't dare to do it again." Robber A immediately nodded. "Bullshit. Shisheng scolded. Robber A and Robber B were shocked and looked at Shisheng in a daze. You've been following me since I got off work and left the company. You even wanted to hit me with your car. Do you think I'm blind? The robber. They were wondering how it was so coincidental that she could avoid it every time. Tell me which idiot sent you here. Shisheng exerted force on his foot. Ouch! Bandit A couldn't help but howl in pain. The two of them endured the pain and were unwilling to speak. Shisheng respected their integrity. He carried them upstairs and tied them up. She found a camera in her space, but she couldn't use it to send pictures, so she had to use her broken phone instead. What are you trying to do? Bandit A trembled. What was this woman trying to do? I'll film a special movie for you. Shisheng set up his phone and said, What do you think your family and friends will think if I post these on the internet? Robber A had a ring on his finger, so he was obviously married. These two people didn't look like fugitives. It was impossible that they didn't have family. Bandit A's expression changed. If you have anything, come at me. Sure, tell me who wants to harm me. Bandit B tried to defend himself. Miss, are you suffering from paranoia? We are only robbing you for money. Shisheng snorted coldly. Not only am I suffering from paranoia, I'm also sick. Bandit A. He could tell that he was really sick. Shisheng would never be merciful to such people. After a round of torture, the two of them couldn't take it anymore and told him who had hired them. At first, they had wanted them to create a car accident and cause her death. But when they didn't succeed, they changed it to rape her. Niecheng came to work on time. Get ready for the meeting. Niecheng ordered his assistant as he entered the office. Yes. Niecheng walked into the office and the boss chair suddenly turned around. Chief Editor Nia, I've been waiting for you for a long time. Niecheng looked at the office door, and then at Shisheng. His eyes were filled with complex emotions. He said in a low voice, Who let you in? Shisheng's lips tugged into a smile as she pressed the play button on her phone. It's Niecheng. Niecheng hired us, we were only doing it for the money. He ordered us to do it. It's Niecheng. Niecheng hired us, we were only doing it for the money. He ordered us to do it. It's Niecheng. Shisheng pressed the pause button and looked at Niecheng, whose face was dark. He said softly, Chief Editor Nia, are you trying to kill me? Xing, don't talk nonsense here. Get out of here. Niecheng pointed at the door. Don't think that I can't do anything to you just because Shuju is protecting you. Shisheng stood up and put his phone in his pocket. His fingertips brushed the edge of the table, and he walked out slowly. There was a faint smile on his face. It floated on the surface, but it didn't reach his eyes. His eyes were like a 1,000-year-old lake, emitting a cold aura that didn't cause the slightest ripple. When he walked to the side, Shisheng grabbed a porcelain ornament on the table and threw it at Niecheng. F*CKU. How dare you hire someone to kill you? You're awesome. Niecheng didn't expect that Shisheng would suddenly hit him. He didn't dodge in time and was hit directly. He felt pain on his forehead. Warm liquid flowed down from his forehead and dyed his vision red. He vaguely saw that Shisheng was walking toward him. He was punched in the stomach. Before he could fight back, he felt a chill on his neck. Something cold touched his skin, and the chill seeped into his body little by little. Shisheng beat Niecheng up. Before he left, he didn't forget to show off. Sue me if you dare. Let's see who's more miserable. If she beat someone up, she could just pay some money. But if Niecheng hired someone to kill him, it wouldn't be solved with money. Shisheng blew at the hair on his forehead that was blocking his vision. He dragged the iron sword and walked out. He opened the door. Outside the door, the assistant looked at him with a pale face. The screen of the phone jumped to the screen of the broadcast. Shisheng hung up the phone for her. He showed a malicious smile and swaggered away. Shisheng returned to the editorial department. He acted as if nothing had happened and did what he was supposed to do. There was no news about her beating up Niecheng for most of the morning. She had evidence in her hands. Niecheng wouldn't dare to call the police. Beep beep. Yushi. I'm off work and eating. Shisheng sat up straight. He looked at the words over and over again for a while. After making sure that his eyes weren't playing tricks on him, he typed quickly. Ancestor. Chief Editor Shu, are you asking me out? Yushi, yes. Ancestor. Do you agree to be with me? Yushi, it's just a try. If we're not suitable, we'll part on good terms. Shisheng stood up suddenly. His movements were so big that the things on the table fell to the ground. The other people in the editorial department were shocked and looked at him. What was he doing? She was startled and frightened, and it was very scary. Asterisk, there are always idiots who want to hurt me. Please let me calm down. Hurry up. Chapter 749. When Shisheng got off work, he dashed into Shuju's office. Shuju just so happened to be walking out with his clothes. Shisheng immediately smiled. Chief Editor Shu. Shuju was speechless. Why was this girl so unreserved? On second thought, if she was reserved, he might not have agreed to have dinner with her today. Shuju walked towards Shisheng and hesitated for a moment. What do you want to eat? Shisheng replied with a smile. We'll eat whatever you want. Shuju did not see any embarrassment on Shisheng's face. She looked at him affectionately. Shuju opened the door for her and gestured for her to leave. The two of them left the office. On the way out, they met some employees who had just gotten off work and were pointing at them. Is Xie really together with Chief Editor Shu? Isn't Chief Editor Shuju Songmingzi's? Songmingzi treats Xie as a friend. Now that Xie has stolen her boyfriend, we're in for a good show. Chief Editor Shu is such a perfect man. Why doesn't he like me? I'm also the most beautiful girl in our department. Forget it. You're the most beautiful girl in the department. Songmingzi carried a bag of snacks and chased after Shisheng and Shuju. Everyone fell silent. However, Songmingzi said something to Shisheng and Songmingzi waved them off with a smile. Everyone was speechless. They did not know what was going on. How could love rivals coexist so peacefully when they met? Shuju chose the place for dinner. It was a private kitchen. The chef and waiters were all men. Shisheng was silent. He knew that he had made the right choice. How could a terminally ill person casually find a place to eat? Take a look and see what you want. Shuju passed the menu to Shisheng. Shisheng flipped through the menu and ordered 2 dishes. Shuju looked at her and ordered the same dishes. Shisheng raised his eyebrows out of habit. Chief Editor Shu, are you making do with me? Shuju lowered his eyes slightly. You can call me Shuju. You haven't answered my question. Shuju took a deep breath and looked up at Shisheng. I have to get used to you. It was his responsibility as a boyfriend. Since he had made a decision, he would not give up halfway. Perhaps were they really meant to be? Shisheng rested his chin on his hand. You don't have to get used to me. After a pause, she smiled faintly. We weren't used to this word before. You just need to. You just need to be spoiled by me. Shuju was a little dumbfounded. Why was there something wrong with this line? Was it his imagination? The one who was spoiled was actually him? The Shisheng called the waiter over and replaced Shuju's order with his favorite food. Shuju, I don't really like anyone, but I like you the most. Shisheng's voice was neither loud nor soft, but when it reached Shuju's ears, it was like a violent storm, setting off layers of waves. He was so shocked that he could not calm down. What do you like about me? Could she really be with a stranger based on her feelings? As long as it's you, I like it everywhere. As long as it's you, I like it everywhere. These words seemed to be set on a loop, and they kept lingering in Shuju's mind. This meal was probably the most memorable meal that Shuju had ever eaten in his life. Are you full? Although Shisheng's reaction was different from what Shuju had expected, he did not feel that it was abrupt. Subconsciously, he seemed to have decided on this. Shisheng rubbed his stomach. I'm full, but dessert would be even better. Didn't you eat just now? Shuju looked at the dessert plate in front of Shisheng. Shisheng rolled his eyes. As my boyfriend, shouldn't you kiss me to celebrate our relationship? I'm going to pay the bill. Shuju got up and left quickly. Although he forced himself to use the things that she had used before, he did not know if it would work if they touched. Moreover, they had just finished eating. He did not want to lose his image in front of her just like that. After paying the bill, Shuju brought Shisheng out. After getting into the car, he did not ask where Shisheng was going and directly brought him to a jewelry store. What do you like? I'll buy it for you. When Shuju entered the shop, he said this sentence. Shisheng went straight to the wedding ring. Miss, do you want to see a wedding ring? We have the latest design. Come and take a look. They are all famous designers. Shuju looked at Shisheng in confusion. He took a few steps forward. Xine, what are you doing? Didn't you ask me to choose? Shisheng looked innocent. I didn't. Shuju turned sideways and lowered his voice. I didn't ask you to choose a wedding ring. We're just trying it out. Shisheng said firmly. So what? I'll be yours in the end anyway. Xine. Shuju raised his voice and his ears turned red. Couldn't she be more like a girl? Shisheng pursed his lips. I'm not buying it. You're so annoying. Shisheng walked out of the store. Shuju chased after him and said helplessly, Are you angry? No. Shisheng opened the car door and got into the car. Shuju hurriedly got into the car. The car door closed and the car was very quiet. We're progressing too fast, Shuju said after a long while. Shisheng turned his head. Do you know what I want to do now? What? Shisheng leaned in his direction, and the girl's fragrance wafted over. Shuju almost pushed the car door open and got out. However, he resisted the urge to move. He looked at the person opposite him and kept shortening the distance between them. Shisheng did not touch Shuju. He stopped when he was a finger's width away from him. He tilted his head and whispered in his ear, I want to sleep with you. Shuju felt like he was about to suffocate. The whole world was filled with her scent. Shisheng reached out to Shuju. So in order to achieve this, why don't we start by holding hands? Shuju came back to his senses. The person who had been whispering in his ear was now sitting upright with her fair hand in front of him. Shuju hesitated for a moment and placed his hand on Shisheng's palm. Her hand was a little cold. It was not as big as a boy's hand. It was very small, so small that he could wrap it with one hand. Perhaps because he had gotten used to it, Shuju only looked a little pale and did not feel like vomiting. The wedding ring incident was over. Shisheng did not mention it, and Shuju did not talk about it. Shuju insisted on sending Shisheng back. Shisheng could only comply and let Shuju send him out of the neighborhood. You live here? Shuju frowned as he looked at the old neighborhood outside. The old neighborhood looked a little dirty. It was normal for a retard like Shuju to dislike it. Yes, I can't afford a house. If you're willing to let me live with you, I have no objections. Shisheng took the opportunity to tease him. Shuju avoided the question. Good night. Shisheng shrugged. Good night. Chapter 750. Shisheng was still asleep the next day when Shuju called her and told her that he was waiting for her outside the neighborhood. Shisheng was stunned for a while. She hurriedly washed up and went downstairs. She saw a luxury car among a bunch of other cars. She rushed up to it. So early? To pick you up. Shuju answered calmly, but he didn't start the car. He looked at Shisheng and didn't say anything for a while. What's wrong? I washed my face. Shisheng touched his face. Why are you looking at me like that? We haven't seen each other for one night. Do you think I've become prettier? When Shisheng was narcissistic, he was absolutely invincible. Shuju pursed his lips. He suddenly leaned over and pressed himself against Shisheng. Shuju's sudden movement made Shisheng shrink back instinctively. The distance between them was pulled back again. Shuju didn't know whether to advance or retreat. He just stood there awkwardly. Shisheng looked at Shuju's posture. He thought for a while before he reacted. You want to kiss me? Shuju's expression didn't change, but his ears turned red. He avoided her gaze and said, You said, I'll get used to it with more practice. Then you don't have to sneak up on me. She was so scared that she thought this idiot was going to cause trouble. Shisheng slightly closed the distance between her and Shuju. Taking advantage of the fact that Shuju didn't react, she lightly kissed him on the lips. Shuju's expression changed quickly. He quickly opened the car door and got out. Shisheng face-bombed. He knew it. He was so angry that he wanted to cry. Couldn't they have a proper relationship? Was it so difficult for her to show off her love and show off her affection? Shuju returned to the car after a while. Sorry. I'm used to it. Shisheng waved his hand. Shuju started the car and said, I'll try my best to get used to it. I'll pick you up every morning from now on. The sound of the car engine covered the unnatural tone in Shuju's voice. Shisheng took Shuju's car to the company. This made the gossip in the company even more intense. Even the editors of the men's section started to gossip. During lunch break, the group of editors didn't go for lunch. Instead, they gathered around to ask for news. Xiaoyi, are you really dating Chief Editor Xu? Previously, this girl had chased after Chief Editor Xu, which made them feel strange. Some of the editors were already old and had been there since before Shuju came. This Chief Editor Xu brought his girlfriend as soon as he came in. It was impossible for others to even think about it. Isn't Song Mingzi from the editorial department next door Chief Editor Xu's girlfriend? Xiao Yi, are you trying to steal someone else's man? Shisheng hummed and pretended to be pretentious. There's no such thing as a wall that you can't poach. There's only a hoe that doesn't work hard. Xiao Yi, you're a little. What's wrong? Shisheng looked up at the male editor who spoke. Another editor added, Now everyone in the company is saying that you're a mistress. Shisheng said indifferently, I don't care. This will affect your reputation. How could a good girl like her become a mistress? Chief Editor Xu was indeed very handsome, but his reputation wasn't good. Xiao Yi, there's drunk shrimp in the cafeteria today. Hurry up, I've been waiting for you for a long time. A voice suddenly sounded from outside the editorial department. Everyone turned to look. Wasn't it one of the people they were talking about? She actually came to have a meal with her love rival? Was this world a fantasy? Xiao Yi, are you taking your time to give birth to a child? Hurry up. Song Mingzi kept shouting outside. Shisheng pushed the person blocking him away. You won't die from eating less. All I have in my life is eating, okay? Hurry up and leave. Song Mingzi pulled Shisheng towards the cafeteria. Before they could take a few steps, Shuju came from the other side. He paused and waved at Shisheng. The people from the editorial department immediately surrounded the door. The three people involved were all here. Were they going to have a cat fight? Then they saw a strange scene. Song Mingzi ran over first. Cousin, I don't have any pocket money. Please feed me. Shuju frowned. I just gave it to you last week. Of course a girl has to buy. Besides, cousin won't be able to give me pocket money in the future. Song Mingzi signaled Shisheng, who was slowly walking over. Now that her cousin had a real girlfriend, her fake girlfriend had succeeded, and she could happily flirt with the little fresh meat. Shuju took out his phone and tapped on it a few times. It's done. Song Mingzi looked at the amount and said tactfully, Then I won't disturb cousin and cousin-in-law's date. I'll take my leave. Bye. The editors watched as Song Mingzi the ex ran away with a smile on her face. A smile on her face. She didn't use the wrong word. A smile on her face. When they looked at Shuju again, he had already left with his mistress. Everyone in the editorial department. They were dumbfounded. Shuju brought Shisheng to a dinner party. Shuju didn't touch anything at the dinner party, and only drank a few glasses of wine. President Xu, this is the first time I've seen you bring a girl out to socialize. A bespectacled man sitting beside Shuju said jokingly. This girl is quite likable. Come, let me toast to her. Shuju blocked the bespectacled man and said calmly, President Qian, this is my girlfriend. President Qian was surprised for a moment, and then smiled apologetically. I'm sorry, I didn't know she was President Xu's girlfriend. Miss, please don't blame me. Shuju had always been clean and honest in the industry. It was rumored that he had a girlfriend, but no one had seen her before. President Xu's girlfriend? How rare. A 10,000-year-old bachelor has a girlfriend. Ha 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 ha. Come, let's toast to President Xu and congratulate him. Shuju poured himself a glass of wine and drank with these people calmly. Most of the people here seemed to have a good relationship with Shuju. When they knew that she was Shuju's girlfriend, they stopped sizing her up. Xu Ju didn't let Shisheng drink. When the others toasted him, Xu Ju drank all of it. Those people knew when to stop. After 2 rounds, they returned to their seats and continued to discuss with the people around them. After the greetings, President Qian sat down and talked to Xu Ju. President Xu, have you thought about what I told you last time? She's the author. You talked to her. Xu Ju looked at Shisheng in despair. President Qian was surprised. So President Xu's girlfriend is the author. Haha. What a coincidence. Shisheng looked at Xu Ju in confusion. What was going on? Xu Ju was probably afraid that Shisheng was not used to it. He reached out and held her hand. It's okay. You can talk to him. If you don't like it, you can reject him. Then let's talk somewhere else. President Qian knew that Xu Ju liked to be surrounded by people. Xu Ju didn't object. Shisheng was still confused. The 3 of them moved to the room next door. The noise immediately disappeared. Ahem. Let me introduce myself. I'm Qian Yong, the Vice President of Huai Entertainment. President Qian's introduction was naturally for Shisheng to hear. Shisheng shook President Qian's hand. Cindy, nice to meet you. I didn't expect to meet the author so soon. President Qian shook Shisheng's hand. He seemed a little excited. Xu Ju's frown deepened as President Qian shook Shisheng's hand. Chapter 751. While Mr. Qian was still talking, Xu Ju suddenly reached out and tugged at Shisheng's arm. His whole body was filled with the same sense of oppression that Shisheng had felt when they first met. Mr. Qian instinctively let go. Xu Ju pulled Shisheng's hand, pulled out a wet tissue from the table, and carefully wiped her hand. Mr. Qian. Did he forget something in his excitement? Shisheng didn't feel anything. His friend Xu Ju wiped his hand for him. Xu Ju only let go of Shisheng's hand when he felt it was clean. His lips moved. Continue. Mr. Qian. The atmosphere was so strange that he forgot what to say. After a while, Mr. Qian regained his composure. It's like this, Miss Exine. Our film company is prepared to buy the film rights to Flower Goddess under your name. If you don't like it, do you have any intentions in this regard? By the rights, F***CK, she thought it was something else. The book that I eunuch? Mr. Qian felt awkward when he heard this word, but he still nodded. Flower Goddess was a novel that leaned towards mythology. The entire novel followed the plot, and the special effects weren't difficult. It could be made into a movie. The only downside was that the novel wasn't finished. There were a lot of plot holes left unfilled. How much? Huh. I'm asking you how much, Shisheng repeated. He hadn't said anything else. How did it suddenly jump to how much money? 2 million. Mr. Qian stretched out a finger. Of course, the prerequisite is that Miss Exine has to finish writing the ending. Shisheng. He refused to fill in the plot holes. Friendly reminder, selling the publishing rights will help you complete the hidden mission. The system's voice suddenly rang out. The hidden mission wasn't to be lovey-dovey with Feng Ci. The hidden mission this time was to help Feng Ci promote the world. What kind of mission was this? Her Flower Goddess seemed normal in the early stages, but in the later stages, Shisheng was afraid that it would scare these people. Therefore, Shisheng readily rejected it. Mr. Qian told Shisheng to consider it carefully, and even left her his business card. He told her to call him after she thought about it. If the price wasn't right, they could still discuss it. Just because she was Xu Ju's girlfriend, Mr. Qian was willing to pay more. Mr. Qian said a few words and left the room. Why not? Xu Ju asked softly. He was not questioning Shisheng. He just wanted to know the reason. Because we have to fill the hole. Shisheng shrugged. I don't want to fill the hole. Xu Ju. He actually had no words to refute this reason. Previously, she had also said that she did not want to fill in the hole. If you don't want to fill in the holes, why are you writing? But Shisheng inched closer to Xu Ju with ill intentions. If you sleep with me once, I might consider the problem of filling in the hole. Exine. Xu Ju frowned and called out to her. Teasing him like this, he also had a temper. Ha 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 ha. It was fun to tease his wife. Because of the plagiarism scandal, Xie Yan had been keeping a low profile recently. Nie Cheng was afraid that Shi Sheng had evidence that he had hired someone to kill Xie Yan, so he tried his best to avoid her in the company. Shi Sheng and Xu Ju's relationship was completely exposed without them trying to cover it up. At first, these people thought that Song Mingzi was a joke. She had been so nice to her before, but in the end, Song Mingzi had stolen her boyfriend. Later, when the girls who were close to Song Mingzi asked around, they found out that they were not boyfriend and girlfriend. These people thought about it carefully. Xu Ju had never said that Song Mingzi was his girlfriend in public. Occasionally, he would pick Song Mingzi up from work and ask his assistant to bring her food. These rumors were the result of their own blind guesses. However, Shi Sheng was different. Xu Ju would admit that she was his girlfriend in public. The group of girls who had missed the opportunity cried in the toilet. If they were not lying, they might have been the ones with Xu Ju now. Every day, Xu Ju would pick Shi Sheng up from work and send her to work. Now he would not have any reaction when touching Shi Sheng, but kissing her was still not allowed. Where are we going? Xu Ju was helplessly pulled away by Shi Sheng. I have work to do. It's okay. I'll help you. Shi Sheng dragged him forward. Xu Ju sighed. He took a few steps forward and pulled her into his arms. You're skipping work. Should I, as your boss, deduct your company? My salary is not enough to buy you any clothes. If you want to deduct it, then deduct it. Buy clothes very good. His wife was very arrogant. Xu Ju thought that he would get used to many things when he was with Shi Sheng. However, he realized that other than getting used to her touch, there was nothing else for him to get used to. They were like lovers who had been together for many years. There was a tacit understanding between them. Shi Sheng walked along the river all the way to a wide square. There were many people gathered here. Some were even using binoculars. Xu Ju remembered the news that he had seen. It seemed that there was going to be a meteor shower today. Shi Sheng found a place with fewer people and brought Xu Ju there. You brought me here to see this? Yes. Shi Sheng nodded. As my boyfriend, shouldn't you accompany me? There's still a long way to go. The meteor shower was around 8 o'clock at night. Why were they here so early? Shi Sheng tilted his head. Don't you feel that time passes like a second when you're with me? Don't tease me. Xu Ju rubbed Shi Sheng's head. Shi Sheng pursed his lips and found a place to sit down. They did not wait for long. At least, that was what Xu Ju thought. The first meteor shower streaked across the sky. The people in the square immediately became excited. Soon there was a second, third, and finally, the meteor shower filled the sky. Countless meteors with long tails streaked across the sky. It was magnificent and dazzling. Xu Ju. Xu Ju shifted his gaze to Shi Sheng. The girl in front of him smiled faintly. Shooting stars kept flashing across her eyes, causing tiny ripples, but all she saw was him. The corner of Shi Sheng's lips lifted slightly. I want to do all the romantic things in this world with you. Xu Ju felt a chill on his wrist. Soon, the chill disappeared and only warmth was left. Xu Ju wanted to look down at the thing on his wrist, but Shi Sheng suddenly raised his head and kissed him. His slightly cold lips pressed against Xu Ju's slightly hot lips. The temperature on her lips mixed with his breath. It was impossible to tell who was who. Xu Ju reached out and wrapped his arms around her waist. He pulled her into his arms and deepened the kiss. Under the meteor shower in the night sky, Xu Ju tasted something he had never experienced before. It was so wonderful that he did not want to let go. The girl's murmur drifted into Xu Ju's heart with the wind. Thank you for stunning my world. The meteor shower was short and dazzling. In the last second of its life, it bloomed with a dazzling brilliance, stunning the night. Asterisk little fairy. Sorry for showing off your affection. Can you help me ask for votes? Shi Sheng no time. Feng Xiai. Whatever my wife says is right. Little fairy. Chapter 752. After the meteor shower ended, Xu Ju finally had time to look at the thing on his wrist. It was a watch that seemed to have been injected with water. When he shook it, there would be ripples. At the bottom of the watch was a lifelike flower. Xu Ju touched the watch. This is a token of love. A token of love? Xu Ju didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Why did she always do things that he hadn't done yet? But this watch, he seemed to have seen it somewhere before. Just now you. Shisheng pressed his hand down so that he couldn't see the flower. You didn't have any reaction. Shuju knew what Shisheng was talking about. His ears started to burn. Why don't we try again? Shisheng suggested. It's late. I haven't finished my work yet. Shuju pulled her back and whispered. Let's kiss again tomorrow. We can overdraft in advance. We can't. Why? I'll drive. Shisheng rushed to start the car. No. Shuju pushed him into the front passenger seat. Niecheng, don't make me look down on you. Haven't you always looked down on me? Shuju's hand that was closing the door paused. He looked in the direction of the voice. There was a truck next to them that blocked Shuju's view. He frowned. I'll go take a look. The voice just now sounded a little like Cheng Ming's, but it had changed a little, so it was a little different. Shisheng got out of the car. Let's go together. Shuju didn't refuse. He closed the door and led Shisheng around the truck. Next to the car, Niecheng was carrying someone and shoving her into the car. Niecheng, if you dare to touch me, I'll make you wish you were dead. Niecheng's voice came from the car. He sounded a little out of breath, as if he was trying to suppress something. It's not like we haven't done it before. Why are you pretending in front of me? If it wasn't for me today, you might have been raped by someone else. Compared to being raped by a stranger, I'm much better as your ex. Shuju took a few steps forward and dragged Niecheng out before he could get into the car. Who is it? Niecheng glared at Shuju. Seeing who it was, Niecheng's expression quickly changed a few times. So this is why you'd rather endure and not want me. Shisheng popped out from behind and shouted angrily. Watch your mouth, Niecheng. Do you believe me when I say I'll beat you up? K your mother. Did her Feng Si look gay? Do you know how to speak properly? Niecheng did not expect Shisheng to be here. He was a little afraid of her now. However, he glanced at the car unwillingly. Cheng Ming had already struggled out of the car. His clothes were in a mess, and his face was flushed. He was panting heavily, and his body was weak. He held onto the car door, and barely managed to stand. Shuju looked at Shisheng, as if asking him if he could help him. Put it in the car. Only then did Shuju step forward and carry Cheng Ming to the car. When he returned, he saw his wife beating up Niecheng. Shuju blushed with shame and hurriedly pulled Shisheng away. After all, they were from the same company. If he continued to beat them up, how could they meet in the company in the future? Shuju sent Cheng Ming back to his apartment. There was a young boy in the apartment. Seeing Cheng Ming in such a state, he did not know what to do. In the end, Shisheng ordered the young boy to carry Cheng Ming into the bathroom. What happened after that had nothing to do with Shisheng and Shuju. The two of them left the apartment. Shuju still had to return to the company, so Shisheng naturally accompanied him. Indeed, Shuju still had a lot of unfinished work. After returning to the company, Shisheng was playing on his phone while waiting for him. However, he still had not finished. Still not done. Shuju rubbed his forehead. Soon. It was already so late. He was worried about letting Shisheng go home alone. You're tired. Go inside and rest for a while. I'll send you home later. Let me help you. Shisheng leaned forward. Of course, you have to not be afraid that I'll leak any company secrets. No need. How can I let my girlfriend work for me? Shuju shook his head. It was not that Shuju did not trust Shisheng. However, as a boyfriend, he felt that it was inhumane to let his girlfriend work in the middle of the night. Shisheng did not insist. He pulled a chair over and sat beside Shuju to continue playing on his phone. Xiane, help me pass the document over there. Shuju called Shisheng. Shisheng looked at the direction Shuju was pointing at, and reached out to pass it to him. However, something seemed to have fallen out. It happened to fall onto Shisheng. The words on the cover stunned Shisheng. 10 years addiction. This was Xiane's. She had saved it on her computer and had not touched it. How could it appear here? Shisheng quickly flipped through the document. It was a contract for film and television rights. As for the pen name, Yinyeji, it was fine that Shuju had plagiarized, but now he was selling the original author's work? Male lead, You're really something. What's wrong? Xu Ju saw that Shi Sheng's expression was a little ugly and quickly turned around. The author of 10 Years Addiction is not Yin Yeji. Shi Sheng threw the contract on the table. Xu Ju knew about this novel. The company was preparing to publish the book. The film and television rights were sold recently. Why do you say that? Shi Sheng looked at Xu Ju. Because it was written by Xine. Xu Ju felt strange. Xine, aren't you the author? What did he mean by saying his own name? Kind of. This was written by the original author, but she was using the original author's body now. They could barely be considered as one. This was approved by Niecheng. Xu Ju looked at the attached page. Shi Sheng guessed that Niecheng was the author. How could Xie Yin be so powerful as to sell the publishing rights directly? The copyright has been sold. Do you have any evidence? Did you save the original manuscript? I'll contact my lawyer right away. Xu Ju trusted Shi Sheng unconditionally. It was like an instinct. Shi Sheng had saved all of the original author's work. She had changed her computer and copied her work. Of course, the original manuscript was still there. Not only was there a draft in the original manuscript, but there were also many ideas and things that were not written in detail in the novel. There were also some mistakes that she did not have time to correct. Xu Ju contacted his private lawyer. After all, Niecheng's men were in the company. It would be troublesome if they were bribed by Niecheng. The lawyer did not complain when Xu Ju asked him to work in the middle of the night. He hurried to the address Xu Ju gave him. Shi Sheng's shabby house. She had asked someone to clean it. It was not dirty, but it looked a little messy and old. Xu Ju felt uncomfortable when he entered the house. Shi Sheng took his things and took him downstairs to the car. Only then did he feel a little better. Shi Sheng leaned over and kissed him on the cheek. We'll change the house in a few days. It's my own fault. Xu Ju felt a little guilty. Because of him, she had accommodated him in countless ways. He didn't know how much patience she had. What if one day she couldn't bear it anymore? Xu Ju suddenly found that he could no longer accept the fact that she was not by his side. Xu Ju was flustered for no reason. He suddenly held Shi Sheng's face and kissed him impatiently as if he was trying to confirm something. He wanted her to stay by his side forever. Knock knock. Chapter 753. Shi Sheng thought that Xu Ju had forgotten about the past, but she was too naive. Xu Ju was very concerned about her relationship with Xie Yan. No matter how much Shi Sheng tried to explain, Hu Jinyao's reaction was, "Don't explain. Just explain that you were with Xie Yan before. Or else look at Xie Yan. How did you fall in love with him?" Shi Sheng was furious. She wasn't the one who was dating Xie Yan. She was innocent. However, Xu Ju did not listen. Every time Shi Sheng tried to explain, he used his body to get used to her. In the end, he tortured himself half to death. Shi Sheng was helpless. Although it was not her fault, she still had to take the blame. The next day, when Shi Sheng went to work, Song Mingzi pulled her sneakily. "Did you succeed? When I make a move, how can I not succeed? Why did I feel that you didn't look too good just now?" Song Mingzi looked at Shi Sheng suspiciously. "Could it be that you were not satisfied?" Shi Sheng was speechless. He was about to vomit. How could it be that he was not satisfied? Shi Sheng and Song Mingzi chatted for a while. When they were about to go back to the office, Song Mingzi tugged at her again. "Did you know that Xie Yin is going to have a book signing?" "A book signing?" Yes. His novel is called 10 Years Addiction, and it is very popular. I heard that he sent it to a publishing company, and they are already planning the book signing." Shi Sheng had been busy with the male genre, and did not pay much attention to the female genre. Therefore, he did not know that Xie Yan had uploaded 10 Years Addiction to the internet. Shi Sheng was speechless. How dare he steal someone else's work in such a high-profile way? Full marks for this male protagonist. Did he think that she did not have the original manuscript? Or did he think that she would not sue him? Shi Sheng went back to the office, turned on his computer, logged on to the website and searched for the title of the novel. Xie Yan had 2 novels under his name. One of them had stopped updating, and the other was 10 Years Addiction. Due to the fact that it was about to be published, he did not update much every day. However, his novel was very popular. Shisheng had said before that 10 Years Addiction was a very good work. As long as there were people to manage it, it would be easy for it to become popular. Shisheng returned to the main page of the website. The banner advertisement was 10 Years Addiction. Not to mention, there were all kinds of recommendations on the app, and the words 10 Years Addiction could be seen everywhere. Shisheng wasn't sure if Niecheng knew that the novel wasn't written by Xie Yan. After all, Niecheng was an evil person. It could be seen from the fact that he hired assassins to kill Xie Yan. Shisheng called the lawyer to ask about the progress, but the lawyer said it would take some time. Chengming. Little Xine, let's have dinner together, thank you for your help that night. A dialogue box suddenly popped up on the Shisheng's screen. She didn't add Chengming, Yushi. Chengming will treat you to dinner tonight. Shuju's message came in the next second. Shisheng naturally chose to reply to Shuju. Ancestor. Got it. Ancestor. Where am I staying tonight? Yushi, my home. Ancestor. You're not reserved at all. In the past, Feng Xi was very reserved. Where did my shy Feng Xi go? Yushi. I want to get used to you. Didn't you say so? Yushi. Reserved is usually used to describe girls. Ancestor. Yushi. Go to work obediently and wait for me to come and pick you up. Ancestor. Wow, I'm so speechless. When she got off work, Feng Xi came to pick her up. The people in the editorial department could only be described as stunned. The relationship between the two of them developed too quickly. They were a group of single dogs. Chengming was treating them to dinner, and Song Mingzi was also there. However, this foodie only cared about food and didn't pay attention to people. Chen Lu. Chengming pointed at the young man standing behind him. You should have met before. You've decided? Shuju suddenly asked. Chengming shrugged. You already have a girlfriend. It's meaningless for me to be a playboy. Shisheng had always felt that Chengming was coveting her man. Now, it seemed that this was the case. Chengming and Chenlu walked in front while Shuju held Shisheng's hand and walked behind them. She explained. Chengming won't bring any men to meet his friends. The ones he has met before are all serious. Shuju had only met him once, and that was Niecheng. You and Chengming really don't have anything going on? Why did she feel that the two of them were full of adultery? Chengming's ears were probably sharp. He suddenly turned back. Little Xine, let me tell you. He can't touch women, so he thinks that he's in my circle. Chengming, Shuju warned. Chengming raised his hands and hurried back to the young man's side. He put his arm around his shoulder and walked forward. Shuju explained, because I don't have any other reactions when interacting with men, so it was normal for him to have such thoughts. However, other than being close to Chengming, he couldn't accept that his partner was a man. Chengming and I are very innocent. We don't even sleep in the same room. Shuju hurriedly expressed her innocence. That's good. If she really had something going on with Chengming, she would probably kill both of them. What are you guys waiting for? Hurry up. Song Mengzi had already walked to the door and shouted at them. The restaurant that Chengming chose was Chenlu's favorite. Shuju looked at the food that the waitress brought over, and didn't even touch his chopsticks. Chengming knew when to stop and hurriedly asked the waitress to prepare new food. The ones who ate the best this meal were probably Song Mingzi and Chen Lu. Both of them were freaking gluttons. While Chen Lu went to the toilet, Shuju took the opportunity to ask a few questions. Chen Lu was still a student. This time, it wasn't Chengming who chased after him. It was Chen Lu who delivered himself to the door. Previously, he shamelessly stayed at his house. He didn't go back often, so he just let him be. Who knew that night, Shuju sent him back and slept with the servant. He couldn't be irresponsible. Fortunately, it wasn't that he didn't have any feelings for Chen Lu. They could be considered to be compatible. Why is he gone for so long? I'll go take a look. Chen Lu didn't come out for a long time. Chengming got up and went to look for him. I'm so full. Song Mingzi finished her food and stroked her belly contentedly. My biggest wish now is to eat, eat and eat. Shisheng chuckled. Not flirting anymore? Song Mingzi snorted. Do I still need to flirt with someone like me? If cousin didn't delay me, I don't know how long the line of people chasing after me would be. I'll arrange a blind date for you tomorrow, Shuju said lightly. Cousin, Song Mingzi shouted with a funny expression. She clasped her hands in front of her chest. Be magnanimous and let your cousin live, okay? After destroying the first half of her life, he wanted to destroy the second half of her life too? After Song Mingzi finished her protest and finished her dessert, Chenlu and Chengming still hadn't come out. They fell into the toilet? Song Mingzi snorted unhappily. Did they run away? What happened to the treat? I'll go take a look. Shuju stood up. Chengming didn't lack money. He wouldn't run away just for a meal. Shisheng hurriedly stood up and followed him. Song Mingzi saw that the two of them had left, and the waitress was watching them. She couldn't follow them and could only sit in her seat like a mascot. Chapter 754. Before Shisheng and Shuju reached the washroom, they found Chenlu and Chengming at the corner. Chenlu was half-hugged by Chengming and covered his face with one hand. His drooping hair covered his expression and face. Niecheng was standing opposite them, and he looked very angry. Chengming, what's so good about him? Niecheng pointed at Chenlu and growled in a hoarse voice. There was a ferocious glint in his eyes. Chengming squeezed out the words through gritted teeth. Better than you. Niecheng suddenly sneered and said sarcastically, he seduced you, didn't he? Niecheng. Chengming shouted angrily. Did I hit the nail on the head? Niecheng's sarcasm deepened. You're still so easily seduced. Do you want to take responsibility after sleeping with him? Chengming, why haven't you improved? Shisheng really didn't understand the grudge between Niecheng and Chengming. They had already broken up. Why was Niecheng still looking jealous? Shuju seemed to know what Shisheng was thinking and explained to her. Chengming caught Niecheng cheating. After they broke up, Niecheng pestered Chengming for a while. He even cheated? This male lead was really something. Shuju's voice was faint. He said he was framed, but that's the truth. Chengming won't accept someone who's not loyal to him. Enough! Chenlu, who had been looking down, suddenly shouted. He looked up at Niecheng and said word by word. I don't care what you say about me, but you can't say anything about him. What right do you have? What right do I have? Because I'm his ex. Niecheng seemed to be quite proud. He gave his first time to me. Is that enough? Slap. Following this sound, the room became eerily quiet. Niecheng tilted his head slightly and slowly reached out his hand, as if someone was touching his cheek in disbelief. After hitting Niecheng, Chengming didn't regret it at all. He cursed. I've been wanting to hit you for a long time. Niecheng, I've tolerated you for a long time because of our relationship. You've been pushing your luck time and time again. Do you think I'm easy to bully? Chengming, you hit me for him. Niecheng pointed at Chenlu and asked, you hit me for him? Chengming didn't continue the conversation and changed the topic. That night you were the one who ordered them to do it, right? Do you think I don't know? Niecheng's expression changed slightly. The coldness on Chengming's face deepened. Niecheng, you underestimate my influence. If I, Chengming, want to investigate someone, there's nothing I can't find. Niecheng seemed to be a little flustered. Chengming, I just want to reconcile with you. Reconcile? Where did you put that one of yours? Eating from the bowl and looking at the pot. Chengming snorted disdainfully. How did he fall in love with such a person in the past? Now he felt disgusted just by looking at it. Chengming hugged Chenlu and walked out. Take care of yourself. When they bumped into Shisheng outside, Chengming nodded indifferently. Sorry for making a fool of myself. Let's go. Shisheng glanced at Niecheng and saw Xieyin coming out from the other side. He looked at Niecheng with a strange expression, then turned around and ran away. Niecheng probably noticed Xieyin as well. He ignored Chengming and chased after him. When they reached a crowded area, Chengming let go of Chenlu and asked the waiter to bring him an ice pack to apply on his face. Song Mingzi hugged her drink and squeezed to Shisheng's side. What happened? The ex met the current one. Shisheng summarized it in 5 words. Song Mingzi understood immediately. Song Mingzi knew who Chengming's ex was. But she didn't like Niecheng. This man was always picking on her. Ever since they were dating, he had been picking on her. It was all because she was close to Cheng Ming sometimes. After she broke up with Cheng Ming, they met at the company. Niecheng was still picking on her. She really didn't understand how a man could be so petty. The meal this time wasn't very pleasant. Cheng Ming said that he would make up for it next time. He then left in a hurry with Chen Lu. Song Mingzi had a date with a girl, so she also ran away. Shi Sheng and Xu Ju stared at each other for a while. Xu Ju's ears turned slightly red and he looked away. "I'll take you home first," Xu Ju said as he opened the car door. Didn't we agree to sleep at your place tonight?" This was different from the script they had agreed on. "Hey, don't change the script. Let's go according to the script." Shi Sheng refused to get into the car. He held the car door and looked at Xu Ju. "I don't care. I want to sleep with you." Xu Ju was silent for a few seconds. "You need to get a change of clothes." Shi Sheng. He should have said so earlier. Why did he say that he would take her home? It was so misleading. "Actually, I don't have a problem wearing your clothes." Shi Sheng blinked and started to tease Xu Ju. Xu Ju thought about the last time she wore his clothes. That scene. In order not to embarrass himself, Xu Ju pushed Shi Sheng into the car with a black face and sent her home. Shi Sheng went upstairs to get his clothes while he waited downstairs. When Shi Sheng went downstairs, he met Uncle Chong and was delayed for a while. "Girl, what have you been busy with recently? You leave early and come back late. Why are you nowhere to be seen?" Uncle Chong and Shi Sheng went downstairs together. "I've been busy dating." "Oh, the little girl has a boyfriend." Uncle Chong laughed. "Don't be fooled by others. Be careful." Shi Sheng looked obedient. "Yes, I know. How could her Feng Xi lie to her?" When they went downstairs, Uncle Chong and Shi Sheng didn't bring the key to the door. It was too troublesome to go up. Uncle Chong knocked on Granny Yang's door, but it didn't open for a long time. "Maybe she's not in." "I'll go up and get it," Uncle Chong muttered and turned to go upstairs. Shi Sheng pulled him back. "What's wrong, girl?" "Uncle Chong, do you smell something strange?" Shi Sheng asked Uncle Chong. Uncle Chong sniffed. "It seems like something stinks." Shi Sheng pointed at the door that Uncle Chong had knocked on just now. The smell came from inside. Could something have happened to Granny Yang? Shi Sheng knew what the smell was. It was the smell of rotting corpses. Uncle Chong thought about it carefully. He hadn't seen Granny Yang in the past few days. He quickly knocked on the door, but there was no one. He went outside to find a few people. After a discussion, they directly broke the door open. When the door was opened, the smell became stronger. Uncle Chong and two men went in first. They found a rotting corpse in the bedroom. One of the men was so disgusted that he ran out and vomited. Uncle Chong looked better, but his face was still pale. "Call the police, call the police." Shi Sheng went out first to inform Xu Ju. When he came back, the police had already arrived and were investigating. In the end, they determined that Granny Yang had died of an illness, not of murder. The weather was not very hot. Granny Yang's body had only started to rot a few days after she died. The police contacted Granny Yang's family, but they either didn't pick up the phone or didn't respond. In the end, the people in the community couldn't stand it anymore and discussed a joint venture to hold Granny Yang's funeral. Shi Sheng paid a part of the money, but the people in the community felt that it wasn't easy for a young girl to earn money, so they didn't want her to pay. In the end, Shi Sheng secretly put the money in Uncle Chong's bag. Sometimes, a group of strangers couldn't compare to family. Chapter 755. The news of Shi Sheng and Xu Ju living together had somehow spread in the company. Everyone looked at Shi Sheng as if they were going to eat him alive. Even Song Mingzi was treated better than her. Shi Sheng had become the public enemy of the new generation of women in the company. Wherever he went, people would stare at him. Shi Sheng was lucky that he worked in the men's channel. These people would only gossip about how he had won Xu Ju's heart. The lawyer called Shi Sheng and told him that he could sue him. Shi Sheng gave the lawyer full authority to represent him. The lawsuit had to go through another round. By the time the result was out, Xie Yan's signing event had already started. Shisheng didn't want those things to be on the market. He hurried to the signing event with his men. The signing event hadn't officially started yet when Shisheng stormed in with a group of people, giving the staff a fright. Miss, the signing event hasn't started yet. Please wait outside. An employee went up to block Shisheng's way. Where's Xie? Shisheng stopped. Ask him to come out. The staff looked helpless. Mr. Xie will come out during the signing event. Miss, please wait patiently. Why were the fans so crazy these days? I'm not here to ask for his autograph. The staff glanced behind him. Then what are you doing? If she wasn't here to ask for his autograph, was she here to cause trouble? Shisheng pursed his lips and smiled. He was a cute girl just a second ago, but in the next second, he was furious. Why do you care what I's here for? The staff. He was working here. Why didn't he care what she was doing here? Perhaps because Shisheng was too fierce. The staff quickly went to find Xie. Xie wanted the signing event to go on peacefully, so he didn't want anyone to cause trouble. He quickly came out of the back room. When he saw Shisheng, Xie panicked for a moment, but he quickly calmed down. A smile appeared on his face as he greeted Shisheng in a familiar manner. Xiaoyi, why are you here? Shisheng put on a fake smile. I'm here to inform you that the signing event is cancelled. Xie eyes narrowed as he clenched his fists tightly. Xiaoyi, this is not a joke. Who is joking with you? Shisheng rolled his eyes. You stole other people's things, and you still dare to hold a signing event. Who gave you the confidence? Xie clenched his fists even tighter and laughed dryly. Xiaoyi, what are you talking about? Xie panicked when he saw the staff surrounding him. Initially, he did not intend to publish the manuscript for 10 Years Addiction, but Niecheng saw it and said that the book would become popular. When the original owner showed the manuscript to Xie, she didn't sign her name or pen name. She only told Xie that it was written by her friend, and that she wouldn't publish it. At that time, there was no one to edit the story for him, and the comments section was full of scolding. His brain went haywire, and he used this draft. Now that the arrow was on the bow, he had no choice but to release it. Xie thought that since it was written by her friend, there must be no evidence. He calmed down. Xiaoyi, you are now with Chief Editor Xu, so I won't pursue this matter. Let's just pretend that nothing happened. I will give you and Chief Editor Xu my blessings. Why are you talking about this? Are you saying that I cheated on you? Xie face was full of forbearance, as if Shisheng had really wronged him. The staff didn't know the inside story, so they naturally guessed that Shisheng cheated on Xie. Xie generously gave her his blessings, but she brought people to his signing event to cause trouble. How can there be such a person? God is so shameless. Xie is so pitiful. He is such a good man, but he met such a bad woman. Discussions were going on around them, but Shisheng remained unmoved. She just looked at Xie with a faint smile on her face. Xie's heart raced when he saw the expression on Shisheng's face. He had a bad feeling. Shisheng didn't care what other people said. Even if they said that she was a transvestite, she wouldn't turn into one. Mr. Xie. Shisheng's lawyer saw that it was time, so he stood up and said a bunch of terms that made Xie a little confused. At the end, he received a lawyer's letter. Xie was confused. How could this be? Was she really going to sue him? Stealing someone else's work was much more serious than plagiarism. To put it bluntly, this was stealing. The signing event couldn't go on. Even Niecheng couldn't do anything about it. The cancellation of the signing event soon caused an uproar. The lawsuit that followed was even more eye-catching. Shisheng was going to sue Xie in court. She was well prepared. Xie didn't know anything other than providing a draft. Shisheng went downstairs at noon, and was stopped by Xie. Compared to the high-spirited Xie not long ago, he now looked like a burly man who had been staying at home for a long time. He didn't look like a handsome young man at all. Xiaoyi. Xie saw Shisheng and immediately ran to her. Xiaoyi, can you let me go and withdraw the lawsuit? Once the verdict was out, his reputation would be ruined. As long as she withdrew the lawsuit, there was still time. Withdraw the lawsuit, and let me bear the blame? If she withdrew the lawsuit, those fans would point their guns at her. Xiaoyi, you're different. I can't lose the lawsuit. Otherwise, my life will be ruined. Your chief editor Shu's girlfriend now. You don't have to worry about food and clothing for the rest of your life. Can you withdraw the lawsuit? I can make it up to you. This Bao Bao is impressed by how shameless he is. If you weren't with Nie Cheng, you wouldn't have to worry about food and clothing for the rest of your life either. Other people's reputations could be ruined, but not his, right? No. Xiao Yi, you don't understand. Xiao Yi, don't force me into a dead end. Xiao Yi, since we used to be together, withdraw the lawsuit. How dare you say you were together? Who gave you the face to hook up with other men when you were dating? If you really liked her, you could have broken up with her first. Then you could have hung her up and slept with other men. Shi Sheng felt that he was about to explode from anger. How could people in this world be like this? I can't withdraw the lawsuit. Shi Sheng said coldly. This was originally the original owner's property. What was wrong with her taking it back? Xiao Yi. Xie Yan chased after her unwillingly. Before he caught up with Shi Sheng, a figure suddenly appeared in front of him. Xie Yan looked up and took a step back. This man's eyes were so scary. It was as if he was going to kill him. If you continue to pester Xie, don't blame me for being rude. Xie Yan's face turned pale and froze. Xu Ju turned around and walked to Shi Sheng, who was waiting a few steps away. He put his arm around her waist naturally and the scary aura disappeared. He lowered his head slightly and asked the person beside him softly, "What do you want to eat?" Shi Sheng tilted his head and said, "Oh you. What are you thinking about in broad daylight? I'm asking you what you want to eat for lunch. What should I do when my wife is so dirty? Can't we have lunch?" "No." Chapter 756. Naturally, Xie Yan lost the lawsuit and was cursed on the internet. Xie Yan's cell phone number was exposed, and people were sending him cursing text messages every day. Nie Cheng rarely came back, and Xie Yan couldn't find anyone to comfort him. He called Nie Cheng, but Nie Cheng said that he was busy and asked Xie Yan to stay at home and wait for the news to blow over. Xie Yan had nowhere to vent his anger, so he could only find people to chat with on the internet. These strangers allowed him to complain and curse freely. Xie Yan got along well with one person recently. The other person not only cared about him, but also listened to him. When people were nervous and empty, it was easy to take advantage of the situation. With this person around, Xie Yan didn't even care about Nie Cheng. When the person suggested a video chat, Xie Yan hesitated for a while and agreed. The other person was a very handsome man, humorous and considerate. He knew that they lived in the same city and would send him gifts every day. Unknowingly, Xie Yan was getting closer and closer to this man. He had forgotten about the pain he had gone through, and he had forgotten about Nie Cheng. When the man tentatively suggested a video chat, Xie Yan agreed. He hadn't seen Nie Cheng for a long time, and he needed physical comfort. So after they chatted a few times online, Xie Yan proposed to meet in real life. The man agreed, and after they met, something indescribable happened. Xie Yan began to see the man frequently. But this relationship only lasted for a month. The man had a girlfriend and he was just looking for excitement. When they were open, he was caught by the man's girlfriend. Xie Yan was taught a lesson, and the man didn't even dare to make a sound. The man's money was his girlfriend's, so he didn't dare to argue with her. When his girlfriend asked him to break up with Xie Yan, he didn't dare to disobey. When Xie Yan returned home, he found Nie Cheng sitting in the living room. He had not been home for a long time. Xie Yan couldn't help but feel guilty. He didn't dare to look Nie Cheng in the eye and whispered, "Nie Cheng." Nie Cheng looked up and saw the sadness on his face. He didn't ask anything and threw a stack of photos on the floor. "I took care of you with my money, and this is how you repay me?" In the photos, there were photos of him and the man dating. There were even a few photos that were very intimate. Xie Yan hurriedly said, "Nie Cheng, listen to me, it's him." Nie Cheng interrupted him with a face full of disgust. "Xie Yan, why are you so cheap?" His words seemed to have triggered Xie Yan. He suddenly broke down and screamed at Nie Cheng, "I'm cheap? Who raped me back then?" If it wasn't for him, he would still be Xianyi's boyfriend. He might even be a famous author by now. Rape. Nie Cheng stood up and walked over to Xie Yan. He pinched Xie Yan's chin and said, Xie Yan, you knew that the glass was drugged and you chose to drink it. Now you're saying that I raped you? Xie Yan screamed hysterically. You are the one who raped me. You are the one who ruined me. It's all your fault, Niecheng. I hate you. Niecheng narrowed his eyes and threw Xie Yan onto the sofa. Ignoring Xie Yan's resistance, Niecheng pulled off his shirt and covered his mouth. He then violently took off his pants and raised his legs. When Niecheng saw Xie Yan's unsightly butt, he suddenly felt disgusted. Niecheng let go of Xie Yan and stood up. This is for you. We're breaking up. Hearing Niecheng's words, Xie Yan panicked. He got up from the sofa and rushed over to hug Niecheng, who was about to leave. Ah Chung, I was wrong. I won't do it again. Please don't break up with me. I will listen to you in the future. Niecheng pried Xie Yan's hand away and turned around. He looked at Xie Yan's body with disgust in his eyes. He used to like this body very much, but it was used by someone else. Ah Chung. Xie Yan climbed up and kissed Niecheng. Niecheng pushed Xie Yan away. Take care of yourself. Ah Chung. Xie Yan fell to the cold floor, and his face was full of disbelief. The door slammed shut and his body trembled. Xie Yan tried to find Niecheng, but Niecheng refused to see him. There were too many people pointing fingers at him, so Xie Yan didn't dare to go. He stayed at home all day, drinking and dreaming. As time went by, Xie Yan's money became less and less. All the money he earned before was lost to the Shisheng. Now he had nothing except the house given to him by Niecheng. He also tried to use his sock puppet to post on other websites, but those were either ignored or scolded for being poorly written. Xie Yan's physical needs forced him to find someone online. One day, a man left him a few hundred yuan. Xie Yan suddenly remembered that he could use his body to make money. He always felt that he was forced to do this because he had no other choice. When he had money, he would stop. But the money he earned was not enough to cover his expenses. Xie Yan played more and more until he got into an accident and was sent to the hospital. The hospital staff thought that Xie Yan was treated inhumanely and called the police. The police followed the clues and arrested a group of people who were suspected of prostitution. Xie Yan was sent to prison because of this. When he got out of prison, he found that the house given to him by Niecheng had been sold. The person who sold it was none other than the person he had a relationship with. There was a sea of people. Where could he find her? Xie Yan didn't even have a place to live. He also wanted to find a job, but he was always fired after a few days. Hello, little Xini. Have you seen Qinlu? When Shisheng received Cheng Ming's call, he was discussing with an author how to perfect his acting. No. Shisheng used his shoulder to clamp the phone, freeing his hand to reply to the author's message. What happened? Cheng Ming was a little anxious. There was the whistling of the wind and the chaotic sound of car horns. Qinlu called me last night. He said that something happened at school, and asked me not to pick him up. I called him this morning. His friend said that he left his phone behind. I went to the school to look for him, but I couldn't find him. I asked his classmates, but they didn't see him. Cheng Ming took a deep breath. I've looked at the places he frequents. I can't find him. Help me ask Shuju. If there's any news, please call me. Okay. Cheng Ming hung up the phone. Shisheng frowned and went to Shuju's office. The assistant was used to this future wife of the editor-in-chief and let her in. Shuju seemed to be preparing to leave. Shisheng pushed the door open and bumped into him. Where are you going? Shisheng looked at him strangely. Shuju raised his hand and pointed at his watch. Madam, it's time for dinner. Aren't you here to have dinner with me? Shisheng looked at the time. Cheng Ming called me just now and asked if I had seen Qinlu. It seems that Qinlu is missing. Missing? Shisheng nodded. Cheng Ming said that he couldn't find him anywhere. His phone is not with him either. Shisheng habitually thought of the worst-case scenario. If he wasn't kidnapped, then he was. Chapter 757. Qinlu was always with Cheng Ming. Other than going to class, he was always with Cheng Ming. Even if he had to go somewhere, he would inform Cheng Ming in advance. If he couldn't reach Cheng Ming, he would ask Shisheng or Shuju to pass a message. Therefore, Chen-lu couldn't have lost contact with him for no reason. Shu-ju was on the phone and didn't receive Cheng-ming's call. He called Cheng-ming back and Cheng-ming said something angrily. "What's wrong?" Shu-ju hung up. Chen-lu was taken away by Niecheng. Shisheng. He was confused. Why was Niecheng holding on to Cheng-ming? Wasn't his true love Xie-yin the little bottom? Cheng-ming was the top. Previously, when he was with Niecheng, Niecheng was the bottom. When Shisheng and Shu-ju arrived at the scene, there were police officers everywhere. Police officers were going in and out of Niecheng's house. Soon police officers came out with a body bag. Niecheng was followed by police officers on both sides. He didn't see Cheng-ming and Chen-lu. Who is the victim? Shisheng stopped a police officer. When the police officer was about to refuse, he quickly said, "We are Cheng-ming's friends. Mr. Cheng is fine. He has been sent to the hospital." The police officer's answer was not important. The victim was Xie-yin. Niecheng kidnapped Chen-lu and called Cheng-ming to come to his house alone. However, Xie-yin found Niecheng before Cheng-ming did. They probably didn't get along, so Xie-yin suddenly took out a knife and wanted to kill Niecheng. Xie-yin was malnourished and was no match for Niecheng. In the end, he was killed by Niecheng before he could kill him. Although Niecheng killed Xie-yin in self-defense, it was a deliberate kidnapping. It was enough to make him suffer. Chen-lu was accidentally injured, but it didn't matter. Cheng-ming accompanied Chen-lu in the hospital. When Chen-lu recovered, he started to buy the Nie family's assets. In this novel, the Cheng family was the richest family. Even Shu-ju couldn't compare to them. After Cheng-ming bought the shares of Shu-ju's company, he sold them to him. He could even pay in installments. The film rights of 10 Years Addiction had already been sold. Shisheng had no choice but to buy it back at a high price. The other party would definitely not be willing to buy it back. What if the film would become a classic? Shisheng made threats and promises. In the end, they agreed to sell the copyright of 10 Years Addiction to her after he promised to sell Flower God to them. Damn it, it was clearly her copyright. Why did she have to spend money to sell it? Shisheng finished filling up God of Flowers gloomily. The readers all thought that the system had gone crazy. It had not been updated for hundreds of years, but now it was updated. Of course, when he saw this group of people, he was stunned. What the hell is this? Why did the male lead and the female lead die in the end? There was only one tree left. They refused to accept such an ending. After hearing the news that Flower Goddess was going to be turned into a movie, these people were even more depressed. How were they going to watch such a ridiculous ending? Shisheng also wanted to use this method to solve the problem, but the film company did not agree. Shisheng had promised to write a satisfactory ending, so she could only change it to another ending. Therefore, when Flower Goddess was released, people who had read the original novel realized that it was actually quite good to die. Of course, this was a story for later. 10 Years Addiction is a very good novel. Why didn't you sell it? This was what Shu-ju could not understand the most. Not only did she not sell it, she even bought all the physical copies of the novel out of her own pocket and destroyed them. Why should I sell it? It's not even mine. Shu-ju frowned. Wasn't this novel written by her? Shisheng rolled his eyes. Look at the novel I published. Do you think I can write a novel with that kind of style? Shu-ju had seen all the flaws in Shisheng's novels. Her novels were basically filled with flaws. When one was filled in, another would appear. By the end of the novel, it seemed that all the flaws had been filled in, but in reality, she could still write a second novel. It would be the original plot, the original characters, and no side quests. She would overturn all the previous conclusions and give a new truth. However, it would not be too abrupt. As for whether she could write a third novel, it was unknown. After all, he had not explored it yet. Then who wrote this novel? Xiane. Shisheng looked at Shu-ju. It's not me. It's Xiane. The original Xiane. Shu-ju had heard Shisheng mention this before. Now that he thought about it, he felt that Xiane should be the pen name of the author. Or maybe she was a friend. But this had nothing to do with him. Shu-ju pulled Shisheng to his side. Now we have a very important question to discuss. Shisheng blinked. Wedding date. Shu-ju. She only knew the wedding date. Other than the wedding date, Was there nothing else in his wife's mind? Where did you get the money? He had wanted to ask this question for a long time. His wife seemed to be quite rich. It was not a wedding. How disappointing. I earned it. I'm not Spider-Man. Why would I rob a bank? How did you earn it? What industry was so profitable? Why didn't he know? Do you want to know? Shisheng pushed Xu Ju onto the bed and placed his hand on his chest. He said domineeringly, "Serve me well and I'll tell you." Xu Ju. Other than thinking about this all day, couldn't she think about other serious things? Xu Ju didn't like Shisheng working with a bunch of men. Later on, he transferred her to his side. Her daily work was writing stories. Sleeping with him? Haha, he was thinking too much. Shisheng wouldn't sleep with her if she didn't write. Shisheng refused. This script was simply ridiculous. As a result, the managing editor's wife could be seen in the office every day, typing away on the keyboard as if she was dying. With Xu Ju supporting her, it was hard for her not to become popular. But the readers who were cheated almost wanted to send her a truck full of razor blades. Damn it, this hole hadn't been filled yet and she had opened up a new one. Her pen name was indeed worthy of it. She was digging holes for her ancestors. Song Mingzi caught the eye of an author at the annual meeting. He switched from male to female and teased her every day. Song Mingzi, who had been teased, was furious. She had always been the one teasing others. This person actually dared to tease her. She had to tease him back. However, Song Mingzi realized that her skills weren't as good as his. Being teased all day made her furious. Later on, this author chased her into real life and forced Song Mingzi to leave the country. She only dared to come back after many years. Cheng Ming and Chen Lu had always been together. The Cheng family started to object, but Cheng Ming was firm. The Cheng family couldn't object and tacitly approved of Chen Lu as their daughter-in-law. However, the Cheng family demanded that Cheng Ming must have a biological child to inherit the family property. Cheng Ming was unhappy. He couldn't have a child by himself. He didn't want to have a relationship with another woman. The Cheng family had no choice but to take a child from a relative. Although it wasn't their biological child, it still had the Cheng family's blood. Cheng Ming had been a jerk for so long. It wasn't good for him to go against his elders. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.